Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Is anyone here yet? Seems there's maybe a couple people here. Let me know. I'm gonna drop some links, but I didn't see anyone on, and I've been wanting to make a video on this, and I think I'm a little behind the curve, just because I wasn't at home. So I think I'm just gonna do a live on it, and maybe I'll get some people up here if they want to talk. Salute Boxing Monster, Rascal, what's up? Yeah, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming by. I just wanted to talk about, like the title said, Keith Thurman calling out the other welterweights and the welterweight champions. And to me, it's an interesting topic because I do like Keith Thurman, and I have felt that he has a pretty good resume at welterweight. But the main issue is that after his Danny Garcia fight, he had a slump of injury, and he essentially was inactive in his comeback fight versus Josecito Lopez. He didn't he obviously won, but he had a spot where he looked very hurt, and he could have gotten defeated by Josecito Lopez. And Josecito Lopez isn't a bad welterweight, but he certainly shouldn't be the WBA champion, right? So just by looking at that, we can already kind of see that he may have, the inactivity has cost him, and then he had to take the Manny Pacquiao fight because why wouldn't you take that, right? But he took that, and it was a close fight, but he lost. In my opinion, he lost 7-5, and with the knockdown, it's 115-112. Yeah, exactly. Oh, what's up, Lisa Bales? How you doing? Oh, I appreciate you guys coming in. I'll drop a link if anyone does want it. You guys don't have to, obviously, just in case anyone comes after. But yeah, Rascal, you said Keith Thurman, he knows he can't get a fight with Crawford. I did see him call out Pacquiao, Spence, Crawford, and Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is obviously the lighter touch out of all those guys. He's already beaten Danny Garcia. He's a proven welterweight still, but he's not a Manny Pacquiao or a Crawford or Spence, right? Obviously, Spence is unified. Manny Pacquiao just beat him, and then Crawford is undisputed at 140. He moved up, and he's been, performing well against the competition that he's been facing. The competition meaning, probably not the top welterweights, but he's been knocking them out, and he's been doing it in exciting style. Like with Mean Machine, he went toe-to-toe with him. Yeah, I would appreciate it if you guys could hit the like button. That'd be cool. Lisa Bales, I'm very happy to see you doing well. Yeah, I think Thurman, I don't think he thought he had nothing left. I think he just had to take the fight because it's one of those fights where you're going to be in a pay-per-view fight. You're going to be in a high-profile fight. You're going to be getting good money from that fight. Tim W., what's up? Thanks for showing up, guys. But yeah, I agree with you. I want to see Spence versus Danny Garcia first, and Thurman versus Ugas would be a great fight, in my opinion. I think Ugas is like the dark horse of the division. He's kind of being treated lesser than the other PBC welterweights, but I don't think he should be. I think he had a close fight with Porter, and in some people's eyes, he won. I had him winning on one of my viewings, and I've done multiple viewings of that fight. Sorry. Yeah. So I think Ugas is a really good. I think I would even like to see Ugas versus Crawford since he's not really getting his shot against the other PBC fighters. But Raider from LA, what's up? How we doing? If you guys want a link, let me know. Good to see everyone in the chat. Everyone's saluting each other. That's good. But yeah, I like Thurman as a fighter. I think he's good. Lisa, I agree. I like Thurman. He's entertaining in the ring. He's entertaining outside the ring even. Boxing Monster, good night, man. I think he can bring a good skill set, and Thurman, before he got his injuries, was very good. And even Thurman in the Pacquiao fight showed up, right? He had a good performance. He didn't win, though. I don't think he's getting a Pacquiao rematch. I don't see why Pacquiao would want that. I feel like Pacquiao would want a Mikey Garcia or Danny Garcia type of fighter, someone who's good at welterweight, a name, but isn't, a top dog. There is Bob Arum today who did discuss that he wants to set up a Crawford-Pacquiao fight, which I think would be monumental. That'd be huge for Crawford. That'd be the fight that he'd want to get, arguably even more than Spence, just because it would line him up to be in a great position to fight Spence. Because he would be a champion. They can't even say they don't like the WBO because they've been calling out Pacquiao. If he were to take that belt, then there'd be you wouldn't be able to refute the fact that Crawford's deserving, especially if he was unified at 147 and undisputed at 140. Definitely, I would love for that fight to happen, but I don't know if that's a fight that Pacquiao actually wants or needs to take. Not that he needs to take anything; he could retire right now. I don't think anyone would truly mind, but yeah. So the welterweight right now, it's strangely interesting and uninteresting. Yeah. Manny Pacquiao is such a talent that even an older Manny Pacquiao is beating guys in their prime. And I don't even say that as an insult to our current talent pool. I just think Manny Pacquiao is that good. Raider, what's up, man? You're on.
Hey, what's up, IBT? How's it going?
I'm doing fine, man. I just want to start this live. I didn't see anyone on, and I wanted to make a video on it, but I don't think it would come out in time. I think I'd have to keep working on it. But yeah, so I decided to just scrap it, and I'll go live and talk about it instead.
Yeah, man. So what was the topic? What were you talking about?
I want to talk about the Keith Thurman calling out the other welterweights and welterweight champions. Like, what do you think his chances are of getting that fight? Or what do you think his chances are if he does get those fights? Like, do you favor him against any of the champions or Danny Garcia?
You know what? I didn't even watch. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the video or whatever it was that he said. If you can recap real quick, what was he saying?
Okay, so he had an interview. That's perfect. He had an interview with Ray Flores from the PBC. He had like an online interview, right? And in the interview, he basically talked about how he wants to dominate the welterweight division again, saying that he was, former unified champion, and he was only kind of dethroned because he was inactive, and then he lost to Pacquiao. So he was stripped of one of his belts, and then he was beat by Pacquiao. So now he's not a champion, but before he had the WBA and WBC, I believe, and he's saying that he wants to be back on top. So the fighters that he wants to fight next, or he would like to fight, would be in this order. He wants the Manny Pacquiao rematch for more than anything, and then he wants to fight Errol Spence, and then of the champions, he wants to fight Crawford last, but he still wants that fight more. He said he wants that fight more to fight Crawford than for the WBO, because PBC has this thing where they don't like the WBO for some reason. Or he would like to fight Danny Garcia as well. And he basically said that if he gets a contract, he'll sign it and he'll fight them, and he just wants to be in a big fight, right? So I was asking, where do you think he is right now in the welterweight division? Like, how do you rate him? And where do you think, like, do you think he can get this fight? Like, these kinds of fights, like with the Spencer or Crawford, how do you think, how likely a Manny Pacquiao rematch is, kind of thing?
Yeah. With Pacquiao, shit, I don't know if he can get that rematch right now because I think Pacquiao has his mindsets probably on Mikey or Spence. I don't think he's made his decision yet, but I think he's gonna go down that road. Um, but as far as him calling out everybody, I mean, I mean, who knows? It might be legitimate since he has a loss. Usually people when they have a loss, they're not afraid to let their old go no more because they already have it, so they're willing to fight um anybody now. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think
Yeah.
he might. I think he might. I think Spence would be willing to fight Thurman. You know what I mean? Just to kind of gauge to see how, you know what I mean? How Pacquiao
Mm-hmm.
and him are kind of.
Yeah, so the
So,
only thing about that is that Spence also had a recent interview, and in the interview they asked, "Oh, would you be interested in Keith Thurman?" And he goes, "Oh no." They asked, "Who would you want to fight next?" Right? And he goes, "Hopefully I can get Danny Garcia, and then I would get Manny Pacquiao." And they asked, "Okay, well maybe Keith Thurman," and he goes, maybe Keith Thurman. I don't really care about him. He didn't give me a shot when I was coming up when I didn't have a belt. Now that he doesn't have a belt, he wants me to give him a shot." So Spence might
uh,
hold out on Thurman. So that's the main issue
yeah,
there. I think it'd be a good matchup, but
yeah, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that
yeah.
interview, but yeah, no. Then, let me see because who would he fight? I mean, he already fought Porter. He already fought Danny.
Yeah, so
He
he
already
called
fought
out Danny
Manny.
too. He called out Danny as well, which is interesting to me because I think he's trying to get that Spence fight because you know how Danny's mandatory for the WBC. He's thinking if he can beat Danny, then he would kind of jump up in the rankings and he would be made mandatory. But I don't think that's realistic, to be honest.
Well, shit, I don't know if Danny would want that fight, or maybe Danny would want that fight just because of the rematch, like so he can get get the get back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I don't
But
know
I
who
mean,
um
go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say I don't know if Danny who has he really fought to prove that he can beat Spence right now? You know what I mean? Like Adrian Granados and Ivan Redkach. I mean that's not really Redkach or whatever his name is. He's essentially nobody big at welterweight. And Granados, he's a good fighter, but he doesn't really win the big fights. So
Yeah, Granado's just had like bad luck.
yeah,
Like it looks like he's had a lot of close fights where they gave the other person the nod, and maybe they did get the nod. I mean, maybe they did win. Who knows? I mean, but he just had he if he would have, I think if he would have like won one more round, and if any of those fights, he probably would have got the nod. But who knows?
yeah, like
He's lost a lot of close fights.
the Broner fight was a split decision. I mean, here let me list off the people he's faced, and you would think he's like a top guy, but he's really just like a middle of the road kind of guy, which is weird. He has a fights with Felix Diaz, Brad Solomon, Adrian Broner, Sean Porter, Javier Fortuna, Danny Garcia, Robert Easter Jr. It's like, can this guy get a break? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So he's been in there with oh, he fought Danny Garcia too, right? Like a
Yeah,
couple of weeks, a couple of his 2 fights ago.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He's a good fighter, but is he really at the level of Spence? Like, no, right? What makes us think that Danny can beat Spence, assuming he's okay?
Yeah, yeah, we don't know. I mean, it just depends how Spence looks too. But you know what? I was thinking, Spence, he said he's ready. You know what I mean? He decided he says he doesn't want to tune up. He's already getting in shape. He's been medically cleared. So I mean, I don't see why he should fight a tune up. You know what I mean? I think he should be okay to go. I mean, he says he's okay. The doctor says he's okay.
Yeah.
So
So to me, I said he should fight a tune-up, but then someone brought up a really good point. I forget who exactly, and it was that he said I don't need a tune-up. So now if he takes a tune-up, we have to hold him accountable, since he's already said that he doesn't need one. And I can definitely agree with
yeah,
that. That he should just get in there, especially
yeah,
this quarantine is going to help him so much
exactly. So
if
yeah,
he
he
treats
said
it
he
the
didn't
right
want
way.
a tune up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rascal
he
brings
said it
up a good
himself. He don't
point.
need a tune up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Rascal brings up a good point, and I want your take on this. He says the quarantine may affect Spence the most, and also Davis. Davis looks like Andy Reese right now. So, do you think Spence is using this time in the quarantine to, get fit and in shape, or is he kind of relaxing right now?
well, I mean, of the last pictures we've seen, he has been looking thinner in the face. I mean, we can't really see how his body is, you know what I mean? But his face does look thinner than when his first videos that came out when after the car accident, he looked a little bit chubbier in the face. So I think he
Yeah.
he is kind of getting into shape, but I mean, who knows how it is going to affect him? If it's going to affect him in a good way or a bad way? Shit, we don't know. Can only speculate.
Yeah, and that's what we have to. Yeah, exactly. It's speculation, and I would like to believe that before this he was in shape, but we know he wasn't. So I hope, at the very least, after this, tragic thing has occurred to him, because of his lack of discipline and his partying lifestyle, I hope he can move past that and kind of take this opportunity to mature and realize that he's an athlete and he has kids, so he can just stay in shape and take care of himself. You never like to see these guys waste their careers, or worse, waste their life or their body fighting only to mess it up outside of the ring.
Yeah, you know what? That's true, man. Because one thing I respect about like Floyd Mayweather is that he was always in shape. Like that
Yeah.
guy always his walk around weight was not too far away from his fighting weight. He always kept it
Mhm.
around there. That's one thing I always respected about him. His dedication to the sport was amazing. Him and Kobe, they're like they used to work out like not together, but to craft their game. Crazy.
Yeah, and that's where I think guys like Broner and Davis Broner and Davis, they have that Mayweather lifestyle, but they don't have that Mayweather mentality. You know what I mean? Like they want the glamour and the riches, but they didn't see that Mayweather was kind of putting in work and staying fit. He wasn't drinking and stuff like that. And I think Davis kind of took the Adrian Broner. He's taking the Adrian Broner route right now, and that's making him blow up in between camp and look like a fat boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that Broner did put in some type of work in the beginning of his career, and then once he started getting a little bit of money, then I think it kind of got to him, and he kind of went away from putting in that work, like like how Mayweather did. Mayweather used to put in that work, and a lot of these guys, like you said, they don't want to put in that work. They just want the money. They want to live the life without putting in the work, and that's just not the way it goes.
Yeah, I agree. It's really you need to stay disciplined because not only is it your career, it's your body. It's not good for your body to be blowing up and then going back down and blowing up and going back down. That ruins the longevity of your career, and it kind of one day you're gonna have that get exposed, so you're gonna pay for it one day.
Yeah. Too much of that is not good for you. But yeah, man, it's definitely about going back to Thurman. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think you think he's all smoke, or you think he actually means it?
I'd like to believe that he truly means it, and I look at Thurman's career and the way he's fought and the people he's fought, and I'd like to say that he's truly been trying to fight the best opposition he can. But then you also have to kind of look at moments like when he initially, I think when he had a belt, he said, "Oh, Crawford's belt doesn't, oh, I don't recognize that as a championship, whatever." And I don't really like that. I don't know why they don't recognize the WBO. It's not like they've really done anything really bad or controversial like that, where you can be like, "Oh, I don't, I'm not gonna mess with this sanctioning body." Like, let's say Thurman does get the Crawford fight and he beats him. You think he's not gonna parade around with that belt? You think he should be like, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm the champ"? No, he's gonna call himself the champ. So it just kind of seems like a convenience thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're trying to like I mean, that's a good question to ask fucking Get This Smoke. Why is it that the WBO, they don't really want to they don't even want to talk about it. That like they don't even mention it. They don't
Yeah,
mention Crawford or anything. They're just like it doesn't exist.
I forget what fight it was, and they had the banner of the PBC, or they had the banner of, they said welterweight champions, and it was Manny Pacquiao when he had the interim or regular belt. It was Thurman when he had the super belt. It was Porter and Spence, and they just didn't put Crawford. Like,
Oh,
remember that?
yeah. You know
They had
what?
this
That was a
like, yeah,
fight. Wasn't that a fight? Like it was a fight. I don't remember what fight it was, but I think it was a fight, and they had it on like one of
in the
those
in the
where
arena.
they yeah. Like but it
Yeah,
was also on the screen that they put welterweight champions right now, and they didn't have Crawford in there. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, like, where's Crawford at?
yeah. They just decided to ignore him. Get the smoke. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's
Oh,
up,
speaking
fellas?
of the devil, hey,
Oh,
man, Get to smoke. Every time I
oh,
mention your name, do you pop up, dude?
oh, for real? You mentioned my name? That's funny. I was trying
Yeah,
to get on
yeah.
in a minute, but the wife have something for me to
No,
do.
no, yeah. No, me and IBT were talking about how the PBC kind of doesn't like to mention the WBO, and then I told IBT that would be a good question to ask. Get this smoke,
And
you
Oh,
know?
like 30 seconds later, I'm like, "What's up?" Oh
oh,
wait,
that's
what's
Yeah, I
up?
know.
yeah, that is
We,
a. Oh, go ahead.
we got 1-2 in the building as well. Wow, what's up, man?
What's up, IBT? What's going on, man?
How you
Oh,
doing?
What's up, OTK?
PT
What's up, OTK?
Raider, what's going on, man? What y'all
What's
talking
cracking,
about?
man?
what's up, man? They were asking for my take on why the PBC omitted Terrence Crawford from their list of welterweight champs. And I think that the list that they put on there were all PBC fighters, and it was just the
Yeah.
PBC event, and that was it. They just weren't spending their money to promote Terrence Crawford. I don't think it was anything more than that, really. It was only the one broadcast.
Yeah, and I get like during like in the actual event why they wouldn't have a Crawford banner, but for the TV's thing where they didn't include Crawford for some reason, I just thought that was peculiar, considering we've seen the other networks. I mean, we have the other networks, like I think DAZN had a podcast recently talking about how something about Crawford and Thurman, so it's not just because they're not involved in the division, they weren't talking about it. And they had an event during the, I believe, Bam Bam versus Soto. I think, I don't know why I remember that, but I think it was that fight. They mentioned all the middleweight champions or something like that for an upcoming fight. And they included Rob Brandt and they included Jamal Charlo, So I just think it was kind of weird. I don't really like that. I'm not criticizing them like that, but it was just something that came off strange to me.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I can get the criticism and all that, and people paying attention to detail, but certain things about in-house broadcasts, they're just for that. They're just to notice and then like move the fuck on, right? So, yeah. I feel like something that is a little bit more insidious and an affront to my sensibilities as a boxing fan is this idea that Tyson Fury is a lineal, right? I just don't like it. But ESPN hawks that shit 24/7, right? But it's just what they do. It's what it is. Like at the end of the day, even though like I can acknowledge that it offends my sensibilities as a so-called purist kind of thing. But whatever, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. So 1-2 Kid, what are your thoughts on the recent Keith Thurman stuff that's been going around online with the interview?
I don't know, man. I'd like to see him fight somebody, but I think he basically just talking in circles, man. Everything that he said was just contradicting itself, and he would contradict everything he said as he said it. It was kind of, he was like, I'm gonna fight this guy, but I'm gonna fight this guy, but I'm gonna fight that guy, but I want to fight this guy, but I want to fight that guy, but that probably won't happen. Like it just, it sounded like a bunch of fucking a guy just talking in circles about nothing. And then he said he wanted to get a get back fight. So it was like, what are you even talking about this shit for?
Yeah, that was the kind of part where I'd like to believe that Thurman was being genuine, but there's also this difficulty where he's talking about a get back fight or give me the contract, I'll sign it. And they go, oh, you'll fight Crawford next? And he goes, oh, I don't know.
How many get back fights? I thought Josecito was a get back fight.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing
is,
excuse me, IBT, I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
No, you good.
All right.
No, you got it.
All I'm saying is, look, he's not gonna get a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. That ain't happening. Spence said he ain't even thinking about fighting him, and he ain't even worried about him because he's like he blew me off, so I'm gonna blow him off. So that only leaves Crawford. So why is he even rolling the dice saying that he'd rather like trying to fight two guys that don't want nothing to do with him? It's like, but Crawford wants to fight. So I mean, and he called Crawford out. Crawford didn't even say nothing. So now it's just kind of, I don't know, man. It's just kind of, he should have just went all in on Crawford and said, I'll cross the street and I'll sign the contract, but then said, oh, but not right away. I got to get a get back fight. And it's like, why? You're completely healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he just wants to win, but then he should say that. Say, I want to get back in the ring, kind of see where I'm at after that fight or whatever, and then I'll fight him. I'll fight the top guys. But he's being weird about it. He's saying, oh, send me the contract, I'll sign it. Oh, so you'll sign a contract right now? Well, no. I need this, or this is what I really want. Or what was this one thing he said that kind of got me like tilted my head? I think something about how he doesn't like the sanctioning body, or how he wants Pacquiao first, but he wants Spence. Oh, but he wants Crawford, and he wants to fight Danny Garcia. It's like, why would Danny Garcia fight you? You've already beaten him. Danny Garcia's lined up for the Spence mandatory position. Why would he risk that against a guy he's already lost to?
And who has no titles now. Coming off a loss. And that's the other thing. It's like, why would he? Even though I do think Danny wants to avenge that loss, I mean, and I do enjoy watching Thurman fight, and I certainly would like to watch this guy get in there and square up with some guys and hope that his talent, he's still got what it takes to be an elite. I just don't like the way he's talking, man. I think that dude's whole attitude changed as right after he became 2-time world champion. Like he just started getting on some diva shit. That's just the
Yeah.
All
way I
right.
look at it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think benefits Keith Thurman's next fight? If you know if Pacquiao won't give him a fight and Spence won't give him a fight, would it be Crawford or would it be like Porter again, Danny again, or maybe even Mikey? Who knows?
Yeah, I was
What
going Mike.
benefits what benefits Thurman?
A title.
He's not getting a title shot.
Yeah.
You think he
yeah.
won't get it? You don't think he'll get a title shot with Crawford?
No, I don't even think he's looking for a title shot against Crawford.
Really?
No, like listen, until that guy gets in the ring, he's the boy that cried wolf. I've been listening to this dude. Don't duck me, son. Right? Like I'm so over this guy and his antics outside the ring. Like he's not active enough for me to care about. Like a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao just whooped on him, and it looked, and you could see that ring rust was part of the issue. Like he made a huge, like amateurish mistake backing straight up, and Manny caught him, and it cost him the whole fight in the very first round. Like,
yeah,
man, like, dude, whatever, man. Like, I just can't. Like, you need to make yourself relevant outside of your mouth.
Yeah, and I like Thurman. Like I said, I actually do like Thurman, but I want to see him kind of prove that he's not that he's not a champion or that he's never been that he's not that level, but I want to see him get a win and work his way back up. You know, I think Hungry Keith was the best Keith we saw, and the Keith we saw against Manny Pacquiao was certainly he put on a good performance, but Pacquiao just looked better that night. I think it'd be smart to position himself in a mandatory position, and I don't think of cutting Garcia. I don't think that's a good way. I think a Lipinets fight, because that would rank him in the IBF highly, and the IBF is, you know, the Spence route or Danny Garcia route, because whoever wins that fight, obviously the favorite is Spence, but if he puts himself in the IBF mandatory spot, that'd be good, you know, that'd be where
you know what? You know what I think?
To what would make him, to me, like a serious threat, again, I would take him seriously if he took a Ugas or knocked off like a young gun, like a Boots Ennis, or took an Ortiz fight. Maybe they'd probably say that that's too early for him or something. But something like that, some like up and coming guy who's like next generation, or a guy that's right on the bubble that he hasn't fought yet.
To be honest with you, this is exactly how I think they're going to move him. I think if he does very well, he's not gonna. You'll never see a Crawford fight. You know, they're just gonna mix him up with the guys they got in PBC's stable. And if he looks bad, they're gonna throw him to the wolves and say, "Well, we got to lose. We could get the WBO too." I think that's what's gonna happen. That's just the way I look at it.
Hey, that's a good point, man. I don't see. I can see them throwing him to the wolves right now. To Crawford.
It's possible.
I mean, it's a. I mean, it could be a win-win situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if he loses, oh well. You know, if he wins, then he comes back with the WBO and the PBC's got all the belts. You know.
I'm sure that Crawford is one of the options, but I don't think that he wants to take that option. I think that he wants to do a different thing. Like you said, when they said it's in the contract, but I need to touch up, you know, I need a ring rust fight first.
Yeah, no, the only thing that I see with Thurman is his security, you know, like his security money wise down the line. And I can see the PBC saying, "Hey man, take this Crawford fight. If you lose, then we'll give you the Danny Garcia rematch. We can give you a Porter rematch. You know, we'll still keep you in line. You know what I mean? To make money."
He keeps those guys fighting. You know, Peter Quinlan and Angulo still fighting.
Are they?
Yeah, they just fought like last year. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even
like Bakersfield.
Shit. I thought it was just some new up and comers with their names probably and just skipped right over it. Like, yeah, them guys ain't fighting no more. Shit. Get chocolate, man. After that loss to who did he fight? And he lost to
Jacobs.
Jacobs
or Andy Lee.
Yeah, it was Jacobs and Andy Lee. He just completely fell off. He could have had that Triple G smoke too.
Yeah, that
he
was
the champ.
You know, he I feel like that's one of those. He's a situation where the PBC offering their champion a bunch of options and the kicking stuff down the road did not work out.
Yeah, that marination shit did not work out for him in his favor whatsoever. He just, woof, that motherfucker just went completely downhill. Yeah. I was enjoying some of his fights too back in the days, man. I wouldn't say he was a great fighter, but he was fun to watch.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's fun to watch.
What you think, IBT? You think that it's just a clout chase? I think IBT's busy. What about you guys?
Yeah, it's just. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Raider.
No, I'm gonna say IBT is the new El Jefe. He's in the lead right now.
Oh, okay.
he's in the lead for like an hour or two, then come back in.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I just had a family come over for a second. I'm going to be on mute really quick. I'm not going to the mountains, I promise.
Yeah, the Andy Lee fight was a draw. You're right, Lisa. He was downhill, though, man. He was going downhill.
Yeah, he did. We did.
He was going downhill. He was headed downhill, man. There's a lot of fighters that I look forward to watching, thinking they were still going to be fighting, man, and they just... I used to have high hopes for that one kid, Dimitri, the dude who broke his back. Fucking the one who beat Jacobs. But yeah, Parag. I was like, this guy could fight, man. That dude could fight. Sucks.
Hey, real quick, I don't know if you guys were on a live earlier in the morning, or they're talking about a Crawford Charlo at 154. Yeah. How would you guys see that?
I don't want to see Crawford fight at 154. Honestly, I think it would just be, to me, it's like it's stupid. It's a dumb move. I mean, I think he's got everything he can have at welterweight. Like, I think he's got opportunity of beating everybody at welterweight. And why risk it for something so small, like moving up to 154, where it's kind of like all the guys are bigger and everything's just up for grabs, and all the guys are dangerous, and you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah, well, like I'm saying, like say the PBC like freezes out Crawford and they don't want to fight him, you know, like Danny Garcia, Porter, Thurman, Spence. They say, you know what, let's not fight this guy. And Crawford's not getting the big fights. So he says, you know what, I'm gonna move to 154, which is possible. That can happen, you know, if he's not getting any big
for
fights.
A light title, maybe, you know, he could probably pick up a title from one of the lighter guys, you know what I mean, in the division. I just think I hate to see when guys jump up just to get fights, man. It's never good for their career, and it usually ends bad when guys are forced out of divisions and are pushed up. That happened to Martinez. I mean, he had a good career. It was spectacular, but he aged way too fast fighting the bigger guys. Same with Paul Williams. It's just I don't think it's a good look for boxing, to be honest with you. It's kind of like wasted talent, man. You just kind of throwing people to the wolves and putting them in it's just, to me, it's stupid. It's just not a good look.
Like I mean, my take.
Yeah, I don't really. I don't want Crawford to move up to 154. I think that'd be terrible. I think he's still kind of proving himself at 147. And I don't know where this came from, but just to say that he should go up and fight Mel, or how he would do against Jermell, it's like, you know, Jermell's arguably a middleweight, maybe even bigger. He's like 6'1" or something like that. He's a strong guy for his weight division even. Crawford's kind of a 140, 147 kind of guy. It seems ridiculous to have this kind of conversation, to be honest.
So yeah, Jermell. I don't think Jermell's 6'1". I think he's like 5'10", isn't he, or something like that? It's Mel, the 154. I don't think it's yeah, it's not Jermell. I think the whole thing happened. You know what? I haven't even checked into it, but supposedly they were going back and forth, or there was some altercation somewhere on the internet with Crawford and Jermell. Somehow, I haven't looked into it, but the topic came in the morning, and D. Jefferson was talking about it. Oh, it was
the gist of it is that Charlo gave his pick for the Spence Crawford fight, picking Spence, and Crawford, you know, chimed in And I guess the way, I don't remember the exact wording, but the way that he worded it, it could have been interpreted that he was trying to see Charlo 154. But I think he wasn't trying to see Charlo 1. That was just like that was just a way to read into into Crawford's statements. But if he was really trying to fight Charlo, what chance would you give him, and how do you see the fight playing out? Was how it went.
Oh, okay. I could see Bud just kind of outboxing him because he's the better fighter, pound for pound. Obviously, he has a better ring IQ and more dimensions to his game, but it's just a bigger guy. You know, he's gonna get caught eventually, I think. And I don't like the idea of that, especially when there's still Spence stuff. But I don't know, man. That whole kind of conversation seems just weird to me. You know?
Yeah, it does. I don't like the idea that he can't get fights from the PBC at 147, but he is going to get fights from the PBC at 154. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's supposed to be a big enough name coming up, but I don't know. That don't really make sense to me. It seems like the bigger fights, the bigger money fights, the bigger draws are 147, not at 154.
Yeah, certainly the money fights are at 147 right now. Yeah, I agree completely what you said. Why would, if they're freezing him out at 147, why wouldn't they freeze him out at 154? He'd probably get the WBO belt again, and they would just say, "Oh no, I don't care about that belt." You know what I mean? If he could be a champion, it would be Teixeira. Yeah, if he could be a champion right now, it would be Teixeira, and then they would be like, "Oh, WBO, yeah, don't care." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just hate the whole ideology of that people have when like, well, this guy should just jump up and fight this guy. It's like, man, if there's so much smoke right there, where they gotta jump up? Why ain't you guys giving heat to these guys that ain't fighting them? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, now you gotta jump up and do that. It's just like, come on, man. Like, like when you see guys that do that, basically on their own, like Mikey Garcia or Canelo Alvarez, where they just jump up on their own and they're trying to do whatever, either doing it for the money or doing it for greatness or what have you. It's like, okay, I get it, you know, but when you got people saying, why don't this guy do that? And this dude should do that. It's just like, come on, man, these guys, like this dude already went up 3 weight classes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. What he started out at super featherweight?
Fuck, man.
It's like now you want him to fight a super welterweight. Okay.
Yeah, damn near middleweight. So it's just it just doesn't make sense to me. Could he perform? Would it make for an exciting fight? Yeah, probably. But would it? I mean, why hinder the man's career in the process? Why risk it? You know what I mean? When you got all that heat right there, like if you take someone like I didn't even like it when people were talking about Spence doing it, when they were calling Spence a weight bully. I'm like, nah, give the man a chance to unify. You know, I'm like, don't do that. Let him make an attempt to unify. But then when I realized he wasn't trying to unify, I'm like, oh, fuck that shit. Even though I know he could make 154 and adapt to that, you know what I mean? Get accustomed to that weight a lot easier than a Bud Crawford could. Still, I'm like, he's campaigning at 147. Let him, you know, get that smoke. You know what I mean? Don't just shove him up in the 154 because he can't get a fight. But now he's doing his thing, but now he don't want to fight. So there it goes, man. You know?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, like to be a pay-per-view, like to do what Spence I think is trying to do is not easy. Like you're gonna have to have tough fights against elite competition to only have pay-per-views. So for me, I'm not gonna bang on him too hard just because it's not a title holder. Although I do want to see that Crawford fight, but mostly I think Crawford has deserved big money fights as he exits the sport. Right. So I just want to see him like win and lose. I expect him to get the Pacquiao fight. I hope he gets the Pacquiao fight. I expect him to win and then win and lose against Spence. I hope he gets his cash on the way out the door.
Right. and these guys have been in some huge battles. I'm just hoping to see them mix it up. I mean, shit, man, they're talking like the PBC and Top Rank are talking like, where's the money gonna come from? And I'm like, shit, put the fight together and watch the money just come about. It's gonna be big. If Spence fights Crawford, the money's gonna be there, man. I don't know why they're so scary to put that fight together. Everybody's been talking about it. This marination shit is just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's gonna make money, but I kind of understand what the PBC and the ESPN are talking about because they're gonna have to split that money, and they don't want to split. You know what I mean? Somebody's good. You know, like if it was like say under just the PBC or just under ESPN, then that would be a huge fight. You know, like all the money would be for the network. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah,
Instead of
they would have made it. They totally would have made that fight.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's retarded. That's why I hate all this stupid fucking ESPN and the Zone and all these signing fighters because now you're gonna have those politics coming. You know.
But between us, I'm saying it like this: it's a big fight. It's got a big buzz behind it, and the entire YouTube community is going to be pushing that, whether they promote it or not. Everyone's going to be talking about it. There's going to be all types of, you know what I mean, like people just bigging that fight up and talking about it and a big buzz behind it more so. You know what I mean? People are going to be doing breakdowns and debates and
all right, so
over social media.
Here's the $1 million question. How many pay-per-view buys will it do? Is it gonna do more than Wilder Fury 2? How many pay-per-view buys you guys predict?
I think after the Pacquiao fight happens, that'll add like 250,000 pay-per-view buys to the fight, at least.
Yeah, I think the Pacquiao element is really big. I think just having Pacquiao be defeated by one of those two would be insane. And I don't even want to think of a possibility where Pacquiao beats one of them, because that fight would just be it would be huge, but it'd be very strangely huge. You know what I mean? Like imagine if a Pacquiao beat Spence or Crawford, then the undisputed with Pacquiao would be kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, to be honest with you, why even put Pacquiao in with one of them? Like I think me and GTS had this. It could be like a tournament, a unification tournament, and they can big it up with Pacquiao's name. The winner gets Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. All of that you can incorporate all that in a business aspect, and for advertising, you can incorporate all that. Like the winner gets the legend, and blah 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 blah. And then he's getting the guy fresh out the war. So I mean, it makes sense, man. It makes sense.
Yeah. So the reason we're talking about that. Do you want to go, Raider? I just wanted to.
No. Yeah. So you know, my question is, so right now, not even after the Pacquiao fight. Say the fight gets announced now, and the fight's next year or whatever. How many pay-per-views does it do? Spence Crawford.
I think right now probably between 3 and 5.
I think it could do like 4 to 600,000. I think it depends on the promotion, obviously. I think they might even do more, but definitely the reason we're talking about a Pacquiao being involved like that is because Bob Arum said that he wants, or they've entered negotiations or some sort of talks, or they've sent some sort of deal that they want to work with Pacquiao to get him a Crawford fight. And then if Crawford were to win that, it would be 2 unified champions, undefeated, going at it against each other for undisputed, and one of the bigger fights in the sport, whether or not there were belts on the line. So,
and that's basically what they were trying to engineer from before the Jeff Horn fight. Is that he wanted because you remember Pacquiao wasn't at the PBC. It was Pacquiao was still at ESPN, and that whole side of the street thing happened because one of the belts was over there. Like Pacquiao was over there. But anyway, it wasn't one of the belts, but it was just Pacquiao. So the whole idea was getting the Terrence Crawford not just getting a couple of belts, but also getting his commercial value up so they could be across network promotion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they tried to feed Pacquiao to Horn and then have Crawford beat Horn, but I do know that they at some point were maybe trying to set up a some sort of Crawford Pacquiao fight, but then it got complicated and there's just all these kinds of elements that then Pacquiao goes to PBC and then he beats Thurman.
Listen, I
Hey,
think
one two kid.
What's up?
No, I didn't get how many pay-per-views you think they would do right now.
I think it could do over 500. I do. I know that sounds like a stretch, but I do, and this is why. If you got it going on, and once if it gets signed, the buzz on ESPN is going to be crazy. Like they're going to be talking about that during basketball games. Those guys are going to be talking about that. It's just going to be coming up. That subject's going to be coming up all the time, man. And then you got, the PBC is going to be promoting it. We're going to be promoting it. Everybody's going to be pushing that fight. And I just feel like that fight is enough people are going to talk about it. There's going to be a buzz behind that fight, and it's going to do better than people think it will. You know what I'm saying? I really do.
Yeah, so where I was trying to get at is, so how like all of us are always talking about like, oh fuck, that's bullshit. These guys should make a fight. What do you mean it's not gonna make money? So I'm kind of trying to look at it from a different perspective, like a business perspective, like Fox and ESPN. So say it does 600,000, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, does it really make sense for ESPN and Fox to split 600,000 pay-per-views, which would be like 300,000 pay-per-views, and then all the buzz, you would have to be doing commercials and promotions, splitting costs. I mean, doesn't make sense for them. I mean, I don't know. Do they have a point? Do they have a point? Do they have a point? But we're not, obviously we don't like it, right? It's bullshit. But do they have a valid point or not? What do you guys think?
Yeah, man, I've been saying it the whole time. You don't have to ask me. I've been saying it for years.
I don't see it. I don't see the point. I think they're just trying to hold out. Everyone's trying to hold out for more money, period. Yeah. But what they're doing is they're missing the opportunity to make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like somebody for it to happen right now, somebody would have to eat shit. Somebody would have to swallow their pride and just say fuck it. And at this point, it's Spence telling Crawford to do it.
And think of
I'll give you. He's like saying 60-40 and come over to Fox. And Crawford's like, nah, 50-50.
And think of the benefits that your network and your fighter gets if you believe your fighter is going to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of the benefits beyond that. Now it's undisputed. They're fighting for like completely undisputed championship against, Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So, and if Manny Pacquiao wins, oh my God, it'll be history in the making. 40-year-old unified guy. You know what I'm saying? Undisputed champion.
The only problem with that is you missed marketing that, and you kind of want to market that on the next Manny Pacquiao fight. Like you can market Manny Pacquiao fighting for undisputed in his next fight, and if it's his last fight for undisputed, I don't know. It just seems like he's just kind of hanging around. I don't know. It's both ways. I guess it still works. It's still a big fight.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm not understanding.
I'm saying that, like, if let's say it's Spence Crawford, right? You can still right now market the Manny Pacquiao as an undisputed, even though that fight is just another unification, right? You can say if he wins this, he's one step away from retiring undisputed and all this stuff. You can market that you can build that into the marketing of the Crawford fight.
Right.
Well, honestly, at PBC, they might just, and I think Pacquiao only has one more fight with them, and I don't know what he plans to do after, but with PBC, they've been not recognizing the WBO, and it's weird to me because even when they have had the WBO, they don't recognize it. Like when Andy Ruiz beat Joshua, I think they called him the WBA IBO champion or something like that. Like they just straight up didn't mention the WBO, and I think if they're going to be like that, then they could just call it undisputed already because that's how they're treating it, which is what I don't like about not recognizing the WBO for their personal reasons.
See, and I think that is more an impression that people are getting versus a reality on the ground, because they have WBO champs and they have guys fighting for WBO straps. And really, I think like more, what I think more is a driver to any of this is making the big fights, like, just like the biggest fight that they can make. Yeah. And I think there's going to be a point when Spence Crawford fits the bill. It's just not now.
Yeah, but go ahead, ABT.
No, you got it.
No. So that's where I was getting to. If it makes sense for both networks to do it, because a lot of people don't know. That when it's cross promotion, they spend a lot more money than people know. Because now they have to negotiate with each other too. Like, hey, you do promotion on this, and I'll do promotion on this, and like, no, I want to do this, and you guys do this, and no, you know what I mean? Oh, we do TV. Oh, we'll do this. We'll do commercials, and it's just a lot of negotiations. They go within each other. That's a lot of money that gets spent just even on that. And so it's a lot.
Well, when you think about it, it's really the networks doing their own commercials. So how much money are they really spending?
Yeah, they're not spending money that way. It's just sort of about allocating resources,
right?
Because there's so much airtime, so that means you dedicate airtime to that programming versus some other programming. You don't know what the hell's going on in that season.
But what I'm trying to say, even if it's on their own network.
Yeah, you got to make it work.
Even if it's on your own network, it'll be like, you're gonna be like, hey, okay, I want to air, say, 5 commercials or 10 commercials within 2 months or 3 months, and then they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna do 2, but like, no, wait a minute, or why are you gonna do 2 and we're gonna do this? It's just a lot of negotiations that go, behind the scenes.
Yeah. But you're gonna have there's gonna be a lot of buzz around it, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna have
I agree. Shit,
yeah,
I think it can do. I honestly, I think it can do in the 6s, high 6s. Because there's gonna be a lot of buzz behind that. A lot of buzz.
You figure that the stuff that used to do 1 million, 1.2 million pay-per-views is now doing like 800,000 and 600,000 because streaming and all that stuff, like people watching, and also the sort of decline of the popularity of the sport. Although the numbers say that the sport is coming back, just in general, the numbers of pay-per-view hasn't followed that trend, right? So you'd have to. I don't know. I don't think it's $1 million pay-per-view fight at this point, and that that's without streaming attached to it.
Yeah, I'm with 1-2 Kid. I think it can do, it's gonna get a lot of buzz and it can do really good.
I'll put it like this: no matter what you're watching, you know what I mean. No matter what you're watching on ESPN, Stephen A, Skip Bayless. If you mention Manny Pacquiao, he's swinging from his nuts. You know what I'm saying? Stephen A's gonna bring his bullshit. Max Kellerman's gonna be all passionate about his bullshit. So. But they're gonna be all hyped about the shit. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like mad passionate about it and be like really deep in it. It's gonna cause a lot of buzz, man.
See, here's the problem. Here's really the problem with the fight. Is still the belts are bigger than these guys. What makes these guys relevant is the belts that they hold. They're not bigger than the belts yet, and as a result. It's just all about marketing and all that stuff, because that's really what the belts are. It's marketing and saying, look at me, look at my fights, televise me. I'm a cut above the other people.
I don't know. You know what? I can't really. I don't buy into that logic. Just for the simple fact that you got a guy like Earl Spence who went over the pond to get the title, came back, fought the Bull to get another title. You had a unified champion at 140 that moved up and took out, the guy who beat Manny Pacquiao, took his title. He was supposed to get bullied by the bigger guy, and he just bullied the bigger dude on some old David and Goliath shit. And I think these guys are bigger than their belts. You know what I'm saying? I really do.
Listen, Terrence Crawford has done 2 pay-per-views totally distant apart, and by all reports, and I know, we know the reports are what they are, but they haven't been good. And the telltale sign of them not being good is that his next fight wasn't pay-per-view, right? It didn't.
Listen, man.
It's not like, I mean, I love these dudes as fighters and all this stuff.
Okay,
having to rise.
I can make this very easy for everybody right now. This is how easy I can make it. All right, you got Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, right? How much did they make in their last fight?
Don't know. The reports are 800 domestic.
No, but how much money did they make, like guaranteed?
I don't know. Not very much. I think the guarantee was kind of low, like 20 million or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like what though? What do you think? Around what?
Right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's Vegas. It was posted in Vegas. It was an athletic commission, so whatever it was the real number. But I think they got an unofficial number too. Like there was an official one that was low, and then like an unofficial one that was still like kind of low, but in the $20 million range.
Yeah, I think it was low, and then they had the pay-per-view numbers.
Okay, so we'll agree that they both got about 20 mil, right?
I got the numbers here. Do you guys want to hear them?
Yeah, sure. Shoot.
Okay, yeah. So the guaranteed lowest, like if no one showed up and not a single person bought this fight, they both are guaranteed $5 million. But Dan Rafael from the ESPN team said that they're actually guaranteed more than $25 million plus a percentage of the pay-per-view receipts.
A piece or
yeah, so
together?
both will receive 25 million, over 25 million, so 25 million plus, and then the additional pay-per-view commission kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, so they're talking about
Bud
Crawford. So they're talking about Bud Crawford, right? Now that's 15 for Bud and 20 for Spence. This is just the thing that they threw out there. The coach, Earl Spence coach. So they're not worth 15 and 20, but those two are worth that amount. And they're not going to do the type of pay-per-view numbers that these guys did. And ESPN and the PBC can't do a co-promotion, and they did it for them. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't get the point.
It's not that they can't do it. It's just not big enough to warrant them to do it now. There's other business to handle that will make that fight bigger for both sides, and they're like, let that play out.
Hey, but you know what? To me, those numbers, I don't know. It's something that's not right, dude. I mean, if you're charging $80 for a pay-per-view and it does 800,000 buys, right? Smoke, we added this up. It was like about 64 million, right? $80 times 800,000, about 64 million. Mm-hmm. If they're paying the fighters 25 million each, that's 50 million. That only leaves $14 million of revenue, and that's not. Hold on, that's not including promotions and like all the, and then they got to split that in half with PBC and ESPN.
Right, but that's what you're missing. It's not PBC and ESPN. It's Fox and ESPN, and those two guys are not getting their revenues from pay-per-views.
You're breaking up.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me go in the office here. So yeah, like I was saying, it's not it's not ESPN and PBC. It's ESPN and Fox, and those two networks, their revenue stream doesn't come from the fans. It comes from advertisers, right? So they already made $300-400 million that week in advertising. It doesn't matter how much this fight garnered. That's not where they get the money from to pay for this event.
Okay, so you're saying that the networks make. Okay, so how do the promoters make money then? How does Bob Arum make money?
The promoters make money from their deal that they cut with the network, and also the gate, right? And then merchandising and international. Because what you're talking about really is just the domestic pay-per-view, but it's a worldwide pay-per-view. The Zone showed this fight, right? There's whoever showed it in Italy, whoever showed it in Germany. Like this fight was broadcast worldwide, so you have to get all of those receipts. That's what the promoter gets a piece of, And incidentally, while there was a co-promoter on this thing, so that's what he gets a piece of also. So when you ask how much they made, not both fighters were promoters on the event. So they're not privy to the same revenue streams, right?
Yeah, but that to me that would make sense if it was a free fight like on TV where you get commercials, but on a pay-per-view you really how much advertising is there on I didn't see them. I didn't see no commercials on their fight.
It's not that. It's not. Again, you're looking at it as the event paying for itself. And what I'm saying is, it's not that the event has to pay for itself, which it did. The event actually made money, but what they have is a budget to put on programming, and they have hundreds of millions of dollars to put on programming for that week. And this is just one of the events that is part of their programming.
Yeah, but where was the advertising in? What advertising was there?
The advertising is on the replays, on FS1, on FS2. Like there. So when you get an advertising budget, the advertisers aren't picking what programs to advertise. What shows they want to advertise on. They just pick time slots. They pick time slots, and it's done by the month kind of thing. So the fact that the fight's going to be on or not going to be on, or pay-per-view or not pay-per-view, that's not what you're paying for when you buy a block of advertising, unless you buy a specific block for that schedule. But usually, if you're a corporation, if the corporation, you do quarterly advertising budgets, you're not really looking at the broadcast schedule. Like, you may have somebody that's on top of that, or you may not. But generally you have an account manager from the network that kind of sees what your company's goals are and what demographics you're trying to hit, and they just like sort of pitch you time slots kind of thing, right? And you can get even like up to a week if you're willing to pay the premium on it, but you want to lock in your rates early. The earlier you lock the rate in, the cheaper it is. You know what I mean? So the closer you get to the event, the higher the rate is to advertise on the event. But anyway, all of that just goes to the network, and that's the network's budget, and the network puts on this event, right?
Yeah, so I get everything that you say, but I'm trying to figure out how that falls under a pay-per-view where there's no advertising. I get it when it's on regular TV where you can have royalties or whatever from keep putting on the fights on different channels and all that good stuff. You have advertising there, but advertising, say like Pepsi or whoever, Miller or whatever. Budweiser, how are they if they pay the money for the advertising? How are they going to get that?
It's mostly through the replay, but like I said, it's cross-platform. So if I give my money to CBS, like it's all the CBS affiliates too, the CW, the whatever the hell. And for Fox, it would be for Fox Sports, FS1, FS2. I think there's an FS3. And your asset, your marketing asset gets paid cross-platform that you pay for, right? It's not just on the main channel. So when they do the pay-per-view, that's on their pay-per-view platform, but then they also have the FS1 replay, right? And that's all commercialed out.
Oh, so you're saying that the pay-per-view, the money is they make it's advertising in general, not they don't have to actually advertise it.
Right, they don't have to advertise for that show. You're not buying advertising for the event unless you're actually buying, like if you're a sponsored, unless you're one of the sponsors, in which case they have like sponsorship levels and you get your logo in certain prominence along the, maybe on the screen, on the TV screen, and also in the arena, depending on your sponsorship level, that kind of stuff. But that's corporate sponsorship, and that's also what Al Heyman is the master of. That's what he brings together, is like corporate sponsors to these events. That's how he had like Floyd Mayweather dancing in front of the Burger King, and
Yeah, so we're trying to say that they're just getting that budget from the advertising.
Yeah, right. That's that, right. Exactly. That's how they make their revenue, is from advertising. It's not from fans. And also, they're publicly traded companies. So, like, literally, their revenue stream isn't from pay-per-view. Like, that is the last thing. That's mostly what I'll go deeper than this. The networks don't even care about pay-per-view. Ultimately, they can give that all the way to the fighters just to get a foothold, right? because all of this shit paid for even before the event got booked.
Yeah. No. I understand. So let me tell you this though. So according to ESPN and Fox, do you guys think that the Wilder Fury 2 fight was a success? Because if it wasn't a success, then there's no way in hell that they will think fucking Spence and Crawford would be a success if we're thinking 600,000 pay-per-views.
Yeah, and that's where the difficulty comes in, where I don't really know, because I mean we have I think Bob Arum said that they wanted to do 1.2 million, but I don't really know what that means in the context of success or not. You know, in my opinion, the show was a success, the fight was a success, but I think what they need in these types of pay-per-view, types of pay-per-view fights is they can't just have one really good fight and then a couple of decent fights. You know, like Navarrete fought. He's a good fighter, but I don't remember who he fought. And then Charles Martin, Gerald Washington's a decent scrap, but that's not really a co-main event normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, that's what we gotta find out to see if it was a success or not. Because if it wasn't a success, then I could kind of see what you're saying. You know, as far as what 600,000 pay-per-views is or whatever, 500,000 is not enough for them to put on a show, and that just pisses me off because we're not gonna get the fights that we want. So
Tommy Temper. Yeah, exactly. So Tommy Temper asks, a measurement of success, does that include the event making a profit?
That it does for the promoters, not for the networks. The networks couldn't care less. Like it's all about eyeballs on property, and really, it's content. They need to.
So you're saying
they need to
Fox
generate.
Doesn't care, and PBC doesn't care, but Al Heyman does, or
no, like whoever PBC is a production company, right? They just produce. They're basically like they put on TV shows, right?
Yeah, but they're fights.
Right, and they're fights, but then but they work with promoters, right? So the promoters themselves need to turn a profit off of these events, but the PBC they get their money from their television contracts. It's the promoters who get their money from the events, right? You're
saying like they've had their cut already; they don't really care,
right? So yeah,
to an extent, obviously.
Yeah, the networks are they just need an event that is going to garner eyeballs. Like they need to plug in something at a particular time point at a in a time slot that's going to generate a certain number of views, right? That they can count on. And that's really and then they just figure out the budget from there. As long as it's flat, like these events aren't terribly costly. For as far as sporting events goes, like major sporting event, Monday Night Football is a lot. It costs a lot more, but there's also a lot more views, right?
Yeah. Okay, I get that. So do you guys can you guys see this kind of event happening with the Spencer Crawford in the next year or two? Because I don't really know how long Spence is going to be at 147, and he's already mentioned 3 people ahead of Crawford, and that doesn't really sit well with me.
Yeah, me neither.
See, the fact that he mentioned 3 people means that he's not talking about leaving the division as fast as people are pushing him out. And then also the fact that he mentioned those people, it sounds like he doesn't think that he's injured as other people thinks he is. So, yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about right now. Yeah, we've already kind of.
But I mean, it's the same thing. Like if those are his people, then he should be at least in the division for a couple more years. If he's going to have 3 or 4 more fights at welterweight, that's a couple of years, right?
So get this smoke. If Spence moves up without fighting Crawford, you're going to roast him, right?
No, I don't. Listen,
because he has the plan, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I'll do is I'll stop listening to what he says and thinking he is, I should I should expect for him to do with his career what he says he's going to do, right? I would just expect that, like, what he says is bullshit. Just like Thurman, like I just don't need to hear from Thurman at all. I'll just appreciate the fights he makes from here on out, but I don't want to hear him talk. Same thing with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn. He can just make the fights. I don't ever need to hear Eddie Hearn.
So you're not gonna be upset about it. You're just not gonna count on anything the motherfucker says from here on in.
That's it.
You wouldn't be disappointed in Spence?
I mean, not really. No.
I have a
disappointed
question.
with the
Who do you?
networks.
Yeah. So who do you like more as a person or a fighter, or if that's any different to you? Who do you like more as a fighter, Crawford or Spence?
I don't really know either one, and both of them, to me, have attributes that I really like and admire, and also things that repulse me. Like I just, I think I wouldn't really want to hang out with either one of them as homies like that. But
okay,
fine,
What if you found out Crawford, smoked weed or something?
I think he's a bully. I think he's like kind of an asshole. But like,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I think that that whole thing. I think he's like socially irresponsible, kind of. But also I think at the same time, I think he's a decent, like a hardworking guy. Like whatever. I think what I like about him, far outweighs what I don't like about him. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
For both guys.
And then, and then 1-2K, were you trying to say something before?
Oh, no, not really.
No,
I forgot what I was talking about.
Hey, get the smoke.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just wanna. So okay. So if Spence says, Crawford, hey, get a belt, and then Crawford gets a belt, and then he says, you know what? Hold on, let me fight these two guys first, or whatever. Get this belts, then I'll fight you. And then he says, you know what? He gets other belts, but he doesn't get Crawford. Then he says, you know what? I'm gonna move up. After he fought the weaker of the champions, you're not gonna roast him still?
If I didn't roast him for flip, no. I like he does what he does. Like I don't like him for the stuff that he says or what I think he's going to do. I like him for what he actually produces in the ring. And as long as he's producing in the ring, he can say all that other shit. I would just think he's full of shit. That's all. Like it's not like it's not like he becomes a worse fighter or something. Like
but no, he's just saying, would you roast him? But I'm trying to say.
No, I mean, I haven't praised him for his outside of the ring, or I haven't praised him for him, keeping his word. That's not like what I go around doing. I talk about what dudes do in the ring.
So would you say that right now his word is kind of untrustworthy because he's already said things and gone back on them?
No. I think his word is untrustworthy because he seems to be making his decisions based on the current economic landscape, which could change at any moment.
Oh, okay. So you don't really respect what he says, or don't believe it, I guess.
It's not that I don't believe it. I think that he's being sincere in the moment.
Okay. Interesting. And then I forget who asked earlier, but to kind of talk about what fights would be good for Thurman if he can't get these championship fights, assuming that he doesn't fight Crawford or anything like that. What do you guys think would be a good matchup for him to get a win and still be kind of put himself in position to get a good fight? I'm not saying fight a bum or someone.
IBT.
What's up?
Before we move forward, I want to answer that. I'm gonna roast him. I'm gonna cook him.
Yeah. Me
BTS
too.
Isn't because he's not he's just kind of looking at he ain't that too much invested. But me myself, I'm gonna chew into it, man, because I'm passionate about the sport. And that's what I mean. I think that's what a lot of this shit comes from, is the lack of passion for the sport, and that's what's killing the sport.
But that's not passion for the sport. That's passion for fights you want to see.
You got them right.
Right, but that's not the sport.
It's definitely good.
It's passion for the sport. All right. Well, that is passion for the sport, because any sport you watch, in the end, you usually watch the best fight, or the two best teams play each other, or the best fight the best.
Not
in any sport, yes, and
that's good for the sport.
Yes,
that's what would be beneficial for the sport.
Right, it would be beneficial for the sport, and if people could count on that, they'd be tuned in more often. And that's the problem. That's why boxing is where it is, because they don't know what's going on because they ain't paying attention to what's going on because the motherfuckers ain't doing what they supposed to. So yes, they get cooked and they get heat, and that's what it is.
Right, but that's a different. The best fighting the best is a separate issue than fights that I want to see. Right.
Well, the fight we want to see, and it would be good for the sport, though. What did you say?
Yeah, right. But you just said if he moved up without fighting Crawford, you didn't say who he went up to fight. Let's say he went up to fight Canelo. Is that still the best fight in the best? But it's not a fight I want to see. So really, where is these fault lines being drawn? That's what I'm saying. I'm just going to appreciate what dudes do in the ring, and then I'll let the rest sort itself out because I already went to bat for guys that I don't like, people revere, guys that I revere, people don't give a shit about.
Right.
I'm over it.
Well, that's
so get this smoke. So you never roasted Canelo for moving up without fighting somebody else in his own division?
No, I said I don't know if you called cherry picking a champion a roast or saying that it's bullshit to say he's a 3-division champ when he has a WBA regular belt. If that's
Look, you said this commonly. It's he is a 4-division champ, but you're saying he's a 3-division champ.
No, I'm talking about listen.
He's factually a 3-division champ. Is what I'm trying to say. But he's maybe non-factually a 4-division champ.
No, that's not the issue. The issue when it comes to fighting, when he fought Kovalev, right? What is my issue about him fighting Kovalev? It's two things. No.
I was just making a quick correction.
I got that he's been a 154 champ, but that has nothing to do with the Kovalev fight. Specifically, the Kovalev fight was marketed as being a 3-division champ. So technically, the
four.
Champ, no, it was a 3-division champ. He was being marketed as middleweight champ.
I'm not making my opinion. Factually, before that fight, he was a 3-division. Okay, you can go.
Hold on, IBT. No, I think what Smoke is getting it. Hold on, let me talk. I'm thinking IBT is referring to a 3-weight division title holder in 3 classes simultaneously.
Yes. That's how they're marketing the fight. That's what I said.
Okay. I thought you meant weight class. Okay, no, never mind.
Yes, that fight was being marketed as him being the 3-division champ, and one of the divisions was the WBA regular, and then the other one I felt like it was the weakest link. That's it. That's my if you think that that's a roast, then I guess consider him roasted, but I don't think that's much of a roast.
Okay.
So hold on. So if he's fighting, so if Spence moves up and he fights the weakest link without fighting without fighting Crawford, don't you think it's almost the same thing?
No, was he going to compete at that weight class, or is he just going to pick one guy and then go back down and fight somebody else?
I don't know. Yeah, all I'm saying is,
well, I mean, if you want to make these equivocations, then you'd have to make the same equivocation. Then he would have to not compete at the weight class. He would just have to
really quick, guys.
And then bounce.
Really quickly, I just want to invite Official in. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Official? Long time.
What's going on, Official?
Yay. Hello, first of all, hello, IBT. Thank you for having me on. Hello, everybody. Get that smoke. Everybody else.
Who's that?
It's Official.
Official.
Oh,
yeah.
Official.
I don't know who that is, but hey, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any thoughts on?
He does breakdowns. He does good. He does nice breakdowns of fights.
Yeah, definitely. He does excellent breakdowns. Just really quick, do you have anything you want to say about Thurman calling out the other welterweight champions before we kind of move back into what we were talking about before the Canelo thing?
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna be quick. Look, first of all, the question is many people are questioning how serious he is about his willingness to fight all these guys he just called out. Look, I would not be surprised being that he probably recognizes that he's at the end of his prime, So if he's looking to fight those guys, then in that case, it's telling me that he's looking for a cash out. But the problem is the way he was talking about all those fights. First of all, he said, okay, Crawford can send me send me the contract for the fight if he has enough money to pay me. And then he goes on, okay, but I would prefer to fight Spence instead of Crawford because I prefer his belts. And then he goes on, but I would not, I would not fight Spence neither, but I would prefer to fight Pacquiao. But again, I would not fight Pacquiao immediately. I would have to have a tune-up fight. So
Exactly.
so confusing. But that's all.
Yeah. He's like a pinball machine bouncing around from fighter to fighter saying he wants to fight them, but I got to do this, and then I like them, but I have to do this actually, and then I want a Pacquiao rematch, which is very unlikely, but if I do get that, then I want to tune. It's like, whoa, where are we going with this, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, and then I kind of wanted to move into a branch topic from that, which is what do you guys think would be a good fighter for Thurman if, granted, he can't get these fights? Because I doubt he'll get a Pacquiao rematch. I doubt he'll get a Spence fight right now. And I don't think that the Crawford fight is ideal for him. So what do you guys think of these? Like, who would be a good opponent for Thurman to get a win, put himself back in the equation as a serious contender, vying for a title? And like, who would be a good win, good name, good fight? You know what I mean? I don't want to hear a bum or like a tune-up. I want to hear an actual good opponent.
I'm gonna say not Ugas because that'll fuck everything up for him. He got a chance of losing that fight, especially coming in rusty. You got to be on your A game to beat that guy. So I mean, it'd probably have to be a smaller guy that can fight. So I think Tim W said it. Probably a Lipinets.
Yeah.
Lipinets somebody to say, yeah, that's a good one. What do you think of Omar Figueroa?
Yeah, that's a name. It's a name.
Yeah, I think these are the types of good fights, and I prefer Lipinets. I think that'd be a great fight for him. I think Lipinets is at this position where, for the guys on the come up, he's wanted, and he's kind of in that middle ground where he's almost made it to a spot of being in the equation, but he's not quite there. So people can kind of use him to skip around, right? Like if a Virgil Ortiz were to beat Lipinets, that would put him in the equation. If Keith Thurman could beat Lipinets, that would kind of put him in talks with a Sean Porter or a Danny Garcia kind of fight. You know what I mean?
But the question,
Ruben Lipinets, though, that's a little bit of a that's kind of a tough matchup for Lipinets.
Yeah, but you know the Figueroa pick. Now, if he came in there with a trainer, and I mean that could be a dangerous fight when you think about it, because it was that really Omar Figueroa we seen in there with Ugas, and Ugas didn't get him out of there. And
no, it went all 12.
Yeah, and another thing is his prior fight at welterweight, he just destroyed Guerrero in what was it, 2 rounds?
He knocked out Guerrero or he TKO'd him in 3 rounds, and then he beat John Molina Jr.
Right. But that, which was a little weird to me, he didn't knock Molina out though, right?
It was a 10-round fight.
Right, but they went the full distance, and it was a war. And I'm like, I don't understand it. He's got like this inconsistency about him at welterweight. I see now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he looks spectacular, then he looks all right, then he just looks awful. You know? So I mean, is this guy a hidden talent that just ain't reaching his potential, or is he just, you know, inconsistent?
Yeah, he did a very weird thing in his career where he was campaigning at lightweight for a long time, and then had one fight at some weird weight, and then moved to welterweight. And it was like he fought at lightweight, and then he fought at super lightweight, and then he fought at 150 or something like that, like in a catch weight or something.
But here's
and he went back down to 147.
Here's what was weird is who stopped Guerrero?
Guerrero, like who has ever stopped him?
Yeah, who stopped him?
Did Danny Garcia stop him?
No,
I don't remember.
No, hell no. That was a close fight.
That's Rios.
Oh yeah, that was Rios.
Thurman didn't stop him. Garcia didn't stop him. Fucking, and neither did Who else did he fight? Oh, and Mayweather didn't stop him.
No.
None of these guys stopped him. And the Thurman fight was a bit competitive, and I think the Garcia fight was really competitive. And then Omar Figueroa jumps up and just wipes them out.
Yeah.
To be honest, sorry for cutting you off, but to be honest with you guys, I mean, okay, having a Guerrero and John Molina Jr. on your resume is not that bad, but they were at the tail end of their careers at the very end, so it doesn't say much except for having them.
Who did he?
Yeah,
yeah, that's true too.
So, in order for us to analyze who Thurman is gonna fight next, it has got to be both fighters willing to fight each other, right? So Thurman's not gonna happen. Spence said he doesn't want to fight him, right? Pacquiao is probably not gonna give him the rematch. Mikey Garcia is probably thinking, you know what the hell? How does this guy benefit me, Thurman? So I don't think Mikey's gonna. He don't have a belt, right? So I don't think Mikey's gonna fight him. Yeah, Porter gave him a good fight, but Porter doesn't have a belt, and and that was a close fight. So I don't think so.
Of a fight for not title.
Yeah, and then Danny Garcia, might maybe want that get back, but I don't see why. Yeah, I don't see why. Yeah, I don't see why Thurman would want that. And Josecito Lopez, I don't think.
They already fought.
I think. They already fought. You know, that was a little too close to them what Thurman wanted that to be. So I think Ugas would be good, but Ugas will give him that work too, though. So I mean, I don't know.
Ugas, I think Boots Ennis would also be a good fight because I think
Do you think they'll throw Boots Ennis to Thurman already?
I don't know what kind of management he has. He seems to not have his thing together, but
he said he wants it, and he needs a big name on his.
He seems to be tapping at the bit for it. So that would be a nice one just to get a young scalp on your name. I mean, young scout, and build your confidence back up. Because it seemed like,
what about Mean Machine?
No, I don't think that fight does anything for him, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
It could build up. It could build up. It could build up. It could build up the Crawford fight if he wants to do that, because you know what I'm saying. See what he could do with him. I mean, I would say Maurice Hooker, but him and Regis Prograis are fighting, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say as well. So
I think it's gonna be a catch weight. I think that's a catch weight.
Yeah, that fight's at like 142 or something like that. But
they're right though.
What about Adrian Broner? Right, both guys would want too much money, right? Thurman Broner.
Yeah, I think they would try to make that a $25 million fight. But to talk about
Ortiz. What about Ortiz?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Ortiz or Lipinets, those are the kinds of fighters who would really want a Thurman fight, and Thurman would want to fight them too. But I don't know if Thurman wants to fight Ortiz as much as he might want to fight Lipinets, because Ortiz is on the come up. You know, he's young, he's dangerous, he's hungry.
You know who?
What about Maidana? What about Maidana comes back?
Nah, he ain't making no 147.
He ain't making 150s to 154. He's not making 160.
I heard he's
he'll definitely make 154. He's still looking in shape.
What about Mikey Garcia?
Oh, really? Last month he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yo, what about you know what would be a perfect name? Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly? That would be an interesting fight. I think, it's weird enough. I think Josh Kelly would accept that kind of fight, even though he really shouldn't be.
Yeah, he'd get destroyed, but it's a name, and it's a comeback fight, and it would. I think he'd get destroyed, but who knows if he's that confident? But Kelly probably looking for I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think they're grooming Lipinets for some reason. It just seems like they're giving him, showcase fights. And I don't think they're giving him like 2 showcases to just throw him in with Thurman.
Yeah.
Hey, what about? I think you guys haven't mentioned one that'll probably maybe be good for both fighters. Probably. What about Jesse Vargas?
Yeah, he's the zone guy now, so you'd have to leave.
I saw something with him. He was, I don't know if I was dreaming or something, but something he might have retired, or he was now doing some sort of programming or something like that. And I don't know if he really wants to be at 147. I know he was trying to campaign at 154.
I don't even think he's ranked in the welterweights anymore. Anywhere.
Yeah, getting your ass whooped by Mikey Garcia does not bode well for you if future welterweight.
You think Mikey would fight Thurman?
Yeah,
I think Mikey could fight Thurman. Yeah,
I think that's a bad matchup for Mikey.
I think Mikey's looked at it as in what does me beating Thurman benefit him from? I think Mikey's. I'm thinking Mikey wants a belt. That's his goal, dude. And after he gets that belt, I think he's gone from that division.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Mikey is waiting on Pacquiao.
Yeah, but what happens? What happens if Pacquiao goes to Crawford, right? So then he's just gonna hang around, not fighting people. Like Mikey's trying to get paid. He's trying to get. He's not just trying to get paid. He's trying to get peanuted. He's trying to get super paid.
But I think.
Yeah. So just like you were saying, so if Mikey does not get that Pacquiao fight, then yeah, I can see him fighting Thurman, and I can easily see Thurman taking that fight too.
Yeah, and also I can see that happening on the zone.
I don't know. I think that's a bad style matchup for a real bad style matchup for Mikey. I think Mikey would have. I think Pacquiao would be a better style matchup than Thurman, because Thurman. I really do. I mean, just because he's not going to get those opportunities that he would get to land his shot against Manny. Even though he got walked through hella high water, he's going to have opportunities. I don't know if he's going to have those type of opportunities with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, he would be a mover. He
explodes inside, and then he's gone.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're saying Pacquiao kind of, he could get timed or something, or he comes on the inside. He jumps in, right?
I just think it's a bad style matchup. And I think if Earl comes back and he's 100%, he's going to, man, I don't know. And I think Terrence Crawford's a bad matchup for him too.
Yeah, so I thought that Keith Thurman was going to put in the Josecito Lopez performance on Pacquiao, so I thought he's just going to run circles around the ring, and he wound up not doing that. And if he doesn't do that, then I can see Mikey having a field day timing him.
Yeah, I think Mikey will have a good first couple of rounds. That's it. Because I think Thurman likes to be aggressive the first couple of rounds, but after that, Thurman switches up. He switches up his game. I think he was just trying to showcase being with Pacquiao. I think it was more of I'm fighting a legend. I gotta be, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be on point. And he didn't get out of there fast enough with Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? And I think Mikey's got great timing. But I don't think he's nearly as quick as Manny with hand speed.
Yeah.
But his timing is better. But
yeah, his timing is excellent. He has great timing. But his hand speed, it's above average, but it's not like hella fast.
Right.
And you know what? Thurman, it's not like Thurman has. Thurman has gotten caught before on the chin pretty good, Yeah. So I think if Mikey can crack him, he can time him, counter punch him. But I mean,
he's pretty flat-footed, man. I haven't seen Mikey in there with a lot of boxers, man.
He knows how to cut that ring off. He gets behind his jab. He cuts the ring off well.
I'll put it like this. Vargas was putting it to Mikey before Mikey started putting it to Vargas.
Yeah.
When he was boxing him, that was a problem.
Yeah. That's Mikey, though. That's Mikey. Mikey starts real late.
That Jesse Vargas has that kind of tendency where you're like, oh damn, you know what? I wonder how Vargas to do versus Spence for like the first 3 rounds, and then that he gasses really hard, and Mikey improves as the fight goes on. So it's just bad for Vargas.
He's in love with his power. That's what he does.
Yeah, he stays on the inside. Yeah.
He gets comfortable, and it's like, oh, I can land this, then I can land this too. I can land this too. And then when he was getting those knockouts, he fell in love with his power, because prior to that, he was a damn good boxer. I enjoyed him before he fell in love with that right hand. When he was just putting combinations together all the time in the beginning of his career, he looked pretty badass. But you know, I don't know if he still got that
Hey,
type of spunk.
so real quick, can we give a prediction on that fight if it does happen? Mikey versus Spence, all around the panel. Kind of want to dig your guys' brain.
Mikey versus Spence or Mikey versus Thurman?
No, Mikey Thurman, actually. My bad. Mikey Thurman.
Yeah. So who wants to start out? Because I might need some more time to think. To be honest, that's a good fight. And really quick, just wanted to welcome Tommy Temper. How you doing, man?
Good morning. How you doing, guys?
If Thurman's
What's up?
even
What's
remotely
up, Temper?
big temper in the building, I seen the video you just dropped. Yeah, I just seen it. But
Let's have. You want to go first, OTK?
yeah, I'll go
Or you want to
first.
go Temper?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
go first.
right, cool.
Okay. I take Thurman, and I take Thurman by unanimous decision. I think Thurman is gonna freeze him in his tracks. I think Thurman punches harder than Spence does. I think he's just got, and it's an explosive power that I'm not sure that he's accustomed to. You know, he's used to thudding power that he's been in there with Maidana. He's been in there with, Spence, and that's kind of like thudding power. You know what I mean? When I think Thurman's got that explosive power. When he pops you, it's gonna be a bit of shock to him, and he's gonna be making some adjustments. And he ain't gonna have. You don't have a lot of time to think in there when you're fighting Thurman, because Thurman's gonna be on you, and then he's gonna move around. I just think the style matchup is bad for Mikey. Not that Mikey's a bad fighter at all, but I'll put it like this: if he could beat Danny Garcia, he could beat Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it like that because his timing's great too, and he punches pretty damn hard, and he's got a hell of a chin. And the only difference between those two, I mean, their styles are a little different, but the only difference between those two is Danny's a lot bigger, and they're both flat-footed. So, yeah, I got Thurman. That's my breakdown.
Me too, man. Because look, I mean, with Thurman, his biggest problem is I've been saying this since I saw him against Guerrero, that you can sneak a truck in between his punches. He's easy to counterpunch, but the problem is he has much better feet than Mikey Garcia, especially at this weight class. So yeah. He would buck circles around him even at this stage of his career.
Yeah, and I think the advantages and disadvantages are pretty clear, except for I think the power one for me is difficult because I think Mikey has a really good right hand, and the timing certainly helps him because his counters make his all around his punches just become more powerful because counter punches are stronger than normal punches, obviously. But we also have those kinds of moments where we see, okay, Thurman has better, ability to move around on his feet. Mikey has better timing. They both have serious power, and it kind of becomes where the geography of the fight is and what kind of game.
Yeah, definitely.
We lost you, IBT. We can move on to GTS or Raider then, or Temper.
I think it all depends on what version of Keith Thurman shows up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Hello.
Yeah, there you go.
So if he's at about 95%, what do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, I think definitely win on points. Don't see him getting a stoppage. If Spence didn't stop him, I don't think Thurman's going to stop him.
Yeah,
who did you have, Temper? Who did Temper have?
Thurman.
Okay. IBT, you didn't finish what you were saying.
Yeah, where did I end? Because my screen just said disconnected, and I didn't even realize that I had stopped going through. Where was I?
You were
the geography of
saying,
the fight.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be about the geography of the fight. We kind of know Thurman has better feet, Mikey has better timing. They both have very good power, so it's just kind of the game plans that they bring. I think is how it's going to affect the points or who gets the win, because we've seen Thurman be hurt by Pacquiao to the body. We've seen Thurman get rocked by Josecito Lopez, who comes from the same camp. So maybe they can employ. They already have the idea of what kind of game plan they might want to employ, right? And we know Mikey's a better fighter than Josecito Lopez, so it could go Mikey's way. They just have to have the right game plan. They have to have Mikey conditioned right, and I want to see Mikey not really throw away those early rounds, because I think that makes fights not closer, but he gives away more rounds than he really needs to. You know what I mean?
So who do you got?
I don't know yet. I would have to probably say Thurman right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if I changed my mind to Mikey.
Yeah, me, fuck, that's a tough one to call, because I don't like that Mikey at 147, his feet are a little bit heavy. He's not as light on his feet. He still has good timing, good counter punching. And he's really fucking accurate. He's like really accurate. That's one thing I like about Mikey. Thurman, Thurman, if he fights on the outside and starts boxing, moving around, I can see him frustrate Mikey by not, letting him time him, kind of be a little awkward. But I can see, I don't know, man, that's kind of tough, dude. I can also see Mikey cracking Thurman, timing him really good and having good ring generalship. But I could also see Thurman have good ring generalship. It's just, I mean, that's really tough.
I think Mikey's gonna have moments when he gets him against the ropes. He's gonna bang on the body and then come back up to the head. But I think they're gonna be too few and far in between. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing that might have a Mikey advantage is Josecito Lopez is with the Robert Garcia camp. He could probably give him a little bit of more points, but like, hey, look, when he does this, he does this. They can go over film, and that'll be a little advantage to Mikey. But I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't know who I will choose on that one. It's I don't want to say a 50-50, but it's just kind of. Well, I don't know.
45, 58,
that's where I'm at as well.
48, 48, 52.
I'm gonna. Fuck, dude. I don't know. I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna go Mikey by a butt hair.
See, right. We haven't seen a lot of Mikey at welterweight, right? We've only seen him a couple times. And neither one of them were against a guy who was really using a lot of lateral movement. Which I think it would be the proper strategy for Thurman to win. But at 135, Mikey was pretty good at cutting the ring off against Robert Easter, although Robert Easter also isn't the best at fighting tall and moving and using lateral movement. He was able to catch him and drop him, and then Robert Easter just sort of reverted to norm in that one. Mikey is really good if you're going to stand in front of him, but I think he's also pretty good at tracking you down. They're similar heights. I think they have like an inch difference in reach, but like they're the same size basically, right? Like 5'7", 5'8". Yeah, I give Mikey a shot. Like I don't trust Keith Thurman. I give Mikey or Keith.
You know what though? It's a better fight than we were thinking about giving it credit for.
Yeah, I really changed my mind on that. I think it would be a great fight. Looks like Temper had to drop out for a bit, but
I'd have to say this though. Like I'm not sure if we'll just say one of Thurman's weaknesses is sometimes he pulls straight back. Mikey can count on that and attempt to time that. The problem is Joselito or Jose. How do you say his first?
Josecito.
Josecito Lopez. When he would pull out from him, he would get caught with that right hand, but that right hand was long. He's got a long right hand, and Mikey does extend his right hand and leaps in to land shots. But if he overextends, he's also gonna, that's bad business because Thurman is a puncher. On top of that, being an explosive puncher, cutting the ring off and chasing a guy, closing the distance on a explosive puncher is extremely dangerous because you could run into some stuff too. And also, Thurman throws punches from really odd angles, and he does it very quickly and explosive. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm still like for Thurman. I'm still running with Thurman, man.
Yeah, I think Thurman has. But see, the thing is, the Thurman of old isn't the Thurman of Josecito Lopez Pacquiao. Like that's really all we have to see of the new Thurman. I can't really read into what he did with Danny Garcia and Sean Porter and all those other guys on his way up. He's just not the same guy to me. You can see the years outside of the ring show up now in his performance in the ring. Yeah, I don't know. He seems to be that knockdown seemed to discombobulate him. I don't think he was hurt so much as his mind just it seemed like he was embarrassed and unfocused after that. It took him a minute to get his game plan and get his act together after that. And that seemed to be like a between the ears problem. Yeah. And the way he's talking too, it just makes me think that he's just not dialed in the way I think he'd need to be in order to maximize what he's got left. But yeah, I don't know. It should be Thurman. Like my brain is just saying, like, why are you just not saying Keith? Because I feel like it would be Keith, but Mikey's got what it takes. Mikey's definitely.
You're in the same boat as me. I was thinking like, why am I not picking Keith Thurman? That should be like a 60-40 Keith Thurman. But it's just something that Mike. I mean, Mikey is because we know Mikey has ring IQ. He's a smart fighter. He doesn't waste punches. He knows how to counter punch. He's got great timing. His accuracy is when he hits you right on the button. He knows how to cut off the ring. He's just a little too heavy on his feet. At 147, I don't know.
Thurman should have been able to beat Pacquiao. That's really what it is. Like, and I'm not saying that because I picked Thurman to win that fight. It was what happened in the fight. There was a situation where the fight was there for Thurman, and he wasn't able to produce one of his old performances. So he's just not the same fighter to me. And part of it was what Pacquiao was doing, sure. But part of it was something is missing from Thurman now.
I forget who said, but it was something about just having a fighter go down in the fight, especially early, can really mess with your head and mess with the game plan. Because to Keith, he was doing everything right to win that round, but he got caught because, like you said, he made the rookie mistake of exiting the line of fire in a straight line backwards. And Pacquiao is an excellent southpaw fighter. He's experienced. He's fast on his feet. He was able to switch southpaw, orthodox southpaw, and catch him going backwards. And he didn't think he was in range, and he got caught. He got hit with the body shot, so he put his guard down, and then he got hit with the the right hand, and he got dropped, right? So,
but I don't see Mikey's feet that explosive though to be able to pull that off like Manny did.
Then that's where that comes in, where Manny did what Manny does, but Mikey, we haven't seen that from Mikey at 147, and Mikey has different traits and values, so it's difficult to kind of compare those fights. Right. But he still, has serious skills. So that's why it's very difficult for me to pick.
Dude, I literally root. There ain't been one fight that I was watching Mikey fight that I didn't root for him. I just enjoy watching him fight because, like what LA said, I like watching snipers. That's why, and I like the guys with the big punches that are the underdogs that are sharp and crisp with their shots because they have an opportunity. But I just don't see that. I think that style matchup is all wrong for Mikey. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm a Teo fan. I like the way Teo fights. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like that sniper thing. I think they're very different styles, but at the same time, it's basically one guy's a little quicker, but they both rely on timing. One guy fights, with his hands straight up and in the peekaboo style, and the other guy, you know what I mean? He fights in the wedge or the Philly shell. So, I mean, I enjoy watching them fight, though. I enjoy their style of fighting. That's one of my favorite styles of fighting, is the patient timing, where it looks like a guy's getting his ass kicked and then boom. You know what I mean? It's just like that's all he needs. I just don't see the guy beating Thurman.
Mikey has some of the best balance I've seen.
And good defense too.
Like he's always in it, and I mean he cuts off the ring nicely. That's what I'm saying. It's not like he doesn't know how to get behind the jab and cut the ring off. And it's not like Keith Thurman hasn't looked vulnerable in his last couple of fights since the layoff, right? And that's really just it. It's just like, which Keith are you going to see? And did you think that his performance against Pacquiao, did you see a marked improvement from the Josecito fight?
I did. I really did.
I did
actually, there was like in the beginning of that, I rewatched the fight like twice, and I was like, Thurman looks really good, because I was like, man, he looks slower, but that's just because he was fighting Manny, and Manny looked, he looked like he was 23 or something. Like when he would try to pull out, Manny started catching him with them shots like regularly, but it was so quick. He was so quick. Like if you watch that fight again, you'll see. And like what you said that he had issues with his head, like you know what I mean. It was a mental issue that he was having, but he went back to his corner when it looked like he didn't react correctly when he got hit by Manny and he was bleeding like profusely. He went back to his corner. He came out the very next round and jumped on Manny and had Manny like backed up. And he was hitting Manny too. And you could see Manny was buzzed when he was catching him, but he would just kind of like what happened with Sean Porter. He just woke back up. You know what I mean? He just got that type of resistance where he can just come right back from it. So that's what was happening. But I mean, his punch resistance was crazy in that fight. I'm talking about Manny, that is. And then his retaliation after being hurt like that was crazy too. So I'm not, I don't know. I think Manny might, he might be on the stuff. I don't know, man. That's his reflexes was like extremely on point. He was fighting like he was fighting when he was 130. It was crazy.
Yeah, but with way more head movement, way more upper body movement, and he was throwing them feints. He looked like he had been watching Lomachenko, and like he feinted and kept like Keith Thurman's hands at home.
Right, but not when he was against the ropes, because he's always fought like that against the ropes. He just kind of just stiffens up and puts his hands up. He don't do much when he gets against the ropes, where guys just beat on him, and then he just beats on himself like, come on, let's go. And then he just comes back, which I never really got that about him. If he's got those type of attributes, why he doesn't move his head when he's against the ropes and he just kind of just curls up. I never understood that about Manny and why he does that. It's
been like the long road to Manny's defense, I think, had a bunch of like lumps and like knockouts along the road on the way,
Yeah. I need to talk really quick to get to Smoke. He needs to put some respect on my boy Pacquiao's name. Pacquiao, if you watch the Eric Morales fight, especially the rematch, he was using head movement and moving around. So don't say he was looking at Lomachenko. He's probably looking at himself.
No, I was talking about the feints specifically when I said the Lomachenko. And it was like around 8, around 9 when he was exhausted and had nothing. And it was time for Thurman to press the gas and get him out of there. No, maybe it was even around 10. Pacquiao was able to feint him make him think he's going to do something, and ate a bunch of time off the clock. And then I think he hit him with a terrific body shot to, I think, steal the round. I think they're like the 10th. But anyway.
I think that's why Mikey wants him. That's why I think Mikey wants Manny, because he does do those feints, but he does them in patterns. You know, and Marquez, it took him four fights to figure it out, but he was good at timing and counter punching. And I think Mikey sees that same issue. I think that's what he's like.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and Mikey's like, oh, nah. Yeah, you know, these guys are good boxers and all that, but he comes directly at me. And if he runs into a Mikey straight right hand, that could be bad business right there, man. And you run into one of those shots.
I'm not a huge fan of Thurman's defense either. Yeah, he does sort of the swimming punches, and Mikey's punches are just straighter. They're gonna go to the target. Like Thurman's gonna have to be on the move. He can't beat Mikey close. He can't. His reach isn't significantly longer, if it is longer at all.
But that's the thing, is while he's moving, that's the problem with fighting a guy like Keith Thurman, is while he's moving, he'll stop on a dime and launch a haymaker like uppercut from an odd angle, and you're not ready. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but that's the Thurman of old. I'm saying, like, that's
all
that reflex. All that reflexes.
He was doing that with Manny too. He had some moments, man.
Yeah, no, that's where I thought he had success, right? That's what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was just going to use the outside of the ring and just run circles around an old man until he got tired and then take him out late, right? That's what I expected from him. But him getting tagged early, he needed to get back. He was down too much. He found himself in the pocket a bunch. He
stopped using his head and just wanted that get back. Yeah,
and he stopped using his legs too.
Yep.
So
that's a fact.
And it's just kind of
unless he was engaging. When they engaged, it would be someone would lead and then someone would counter, and they kept doing that to each other throughout the rest of the fight. That fight was really tight. That was a really tight fight, man. Like, it was extremely competitive.
Yeah.
You can see it on their faces. They don't want neither one of them really want a rematch. I'm sorry.
Hey, you guys don't think that that Thurman would want to punk like Mikey, since he's so small?
So I was just looking at the
use his weight, his strength,
I think he'll attempt to do that for the first 2 rounds and get exactly what Spence got and say, "Nah, I'm gonna box this guy."
Yeah. I think Mikey, if he tries to underestimate him or
hard,
punk him,
man. Mikey
he punches hard, and he's only 1 inch shorter and 1 inch shorter in reach. He's just ever so slightly smaller. I don't think it'd be a good idea at all for him to mess around with Mikey Garcia.
So let me get you guys' percentage then, since you guys get who wins. I just want to see how far off you guys are, like your percentage of the winner.
Do you guys want to go in a circle? So we'll start with you, Raider, and then
I'm gonna go outside because
I had it a butt here, so I'm gonna do a 51-49.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's a good number.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 55-45. Thurman.
60-40. Thurman.
The temper. What do you think? If you're busy.
Oh shit! I was on mute. Sorry. I didn't realize I was chatting, but my mic was on mute. 65-35.
For who?
It's like an auction for Thurman.
Okay, cool. And then I'll have it kind of same area as Raider, I guess. I'll do like a 51, I guess, or 55-45 for Mikey. Yeah, that fight, I can see myself changing my mind every 20 minutes.
You switch it up for Mikey?
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. I feel like if we talk about it for 20 more minutes, I'll say 55-45 Thurman, and then we'll talk about 20 more minutes, and I'll go back to Mikey. I would have to do a lot of deep film analysis, but right now I'm liking Mikey. I'll say 51-49.
The one thing I don't think you guys are taking into account is, I think you guys are like banking on the fact that Mikey can time Thurman and hurt Thurman, but there's a good chance Thurman can hurt Mikey too. And
Yep.
I think Mikey's got a good chin and a good enough defense to not really get hurt by that. I don't think I've ever seen Mikey hurt bad like that. Like even against Spence, I never saw him get wobbled. Like,
I
badly,
assure you
But
this.
Spence didn't really press it that much, did he?
But there's a point. There's a point in the fight when it wasn't assault, right? And Mikey didn't go down. I don't think a one shot's just going to do it. He seems to like it to the body and the head. Like he doesn't seem to.
I don't know.
Take a step back, really.
I think Mikey's a tough guy, but I seen him wilting in that Spence fight. There was moments, and I'm not saying that he ain't had the heart to carry on and do his thing because he was still somewhat trying to press. But what I'm trying to say is that is what Thurman does. He stops on a dime while he's moving, and while Mikey's chasing him, bang, and that's the one you don't see. And 147 is the division to get rocked in, especially if you don't belong there, and you're fighting to Keith Thurman. Thurman can do that. I really think Thurman can hurt Mikey too, very much so. And I mean, I could see that happening, and I think people are sleeping. They're sleeping on Thurman. Oh, but it's okay. We'll see if it happens.
Let me quickly ask: how many fights has Mikey had at 147 now?
2.
2.
2. I haven't seen his last fight. How did he look?
He looked like he was losing the first 3 rounds, and then he won every round after that.
He looked good in spurts.
Okay, so
he put him down too. He put him down too.
Yeah, he actually knocked down Jesse Vargas.
Yeah,
and
he hurt him. Yep.
He almost knocked him out.
And Jesse Vargas actually came on and he said that he, Mikey can crack.
Yeah, old Mayweather fighter. Oh, he used to be starting Mayweather back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jesse said too that Mikey can crack. At 147, his power holds.
Yeah, he's got. I don't know if anyone notices it. You ever look at the size of that dude's arms? Like for that weight, whenever he would come in when he was fighting in the lighter divisions, you look at like when they touch gloves. I'm like, damn man, this dude's arms are huge.
Like Popeyes, right?
Yeah, like he's got some. So he's heavy-handed, like Manny would say. He's heavy-handed.
He's heavy-handed, and I'm from the Philippines.
Yo, didn't they spar a lot too?
Yeah, so they sparred when I think Mikey was 18. But one thing I wanted to bring up really quick about Pacquiao is he compared Thurman's power to Margarito in terms of just like big clubbing hits. So you're definitely right about that one too, kid.
Yeah, but they come a lot faster.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, Margarito was one of his best performances, and then he said it was one of his hardest fights. So.
Yeah. He said Margarito was one of his hardest fights.
Well,
he fought Margarito after.
He was massive.
He fought after hand wraps Margarito.
Well, that Pacquiao fight's kind of what started his decline because he broke his orbital bone, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the Mosley.
I think Shane Mosley actually.
Yeah. Naseem Richardson is what started his decline, catching that paper mache.
No,
I mean, plaster Paris, not paper mache.
Man, he got hit a lot in that Manny fight. He got hit a lot. I was like, damn, that shit was awful. He was putting like
that fight should have been stopped.
10 punch combinations on him over and over again. It even got to the point where he let off the gas.
Started complaining to the referee at one point.
Yeah, he did.
Let me clarify.
Hey, ref, you allowed me to get jumped in here?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think when he fought Cotto too was the same, but Cotto seemed to be dwindling towards the end of that fight. And Margarito started coming on, and then they were like, "Nah, that's it. I guess that's karma." Shit.
Oh no, Cotto put his knee down on the Margarito fight. He quit.
No, the first fight. We're talking about the rematch.
Oh my bad.
The second fight. The first fight. But what I'm talking about in the second fight, if you watch it, Margarito looked like he was doing very well in that last round, and it looked like, you know, Cotto was going back into that mode where he was just kind of dancing around and doing less and less. So I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I actually thought it was a little bit premature, that stoppage, but it was on the cards.
Right, and it was, but that's what I mean is that shit, man. He did, you know, Cotto did the damage, but at the same time, if you're gonna let Manny beat up on him like that, why you stopping it when he has like his best round? You know what I'm saying?
I remember that round too. That was
a good round, actually.
Margarito, coming back. They definitely stopped that fight early, but I mean, you know,
Like,
it's
look at
boxing.
But he was
it
taking punishment in that good round he was having, though.
Yeah, he was, but he was walking through it. I mean, shit. He was
walking through it.
Like,
He's a soldier.
you really gotta get that guy out of there, man, because the only dude to really just massacre that I'm getting tired, man. Massacre the dude.
Yeah, that
was
word.
Mosley. Mosley,
right.
man, he just pounded him.
Fucked him.
He had him smiling,
ropes,
man. He was on cloud 9. He was cheesing and shit, getting up.
He was
like
having a good time. Why was he so damn happy?
I was like, why is Margarito cheesing? He's like, yeah. He had that.
But Mosley hit him with some bombs on the chin.
Yeah, man, he was pounding him. I was like, shit. That was one of his best performances, man. Later in his career,
For sure. For later on in his career, yeah. I mean, how old was Mosley then? 36?
Yeah, no,
or thereabouts.
Yeah, I didn't know if he had him because he didn't look all that spectacular in his fights before him. When he just came out and was just like, he was just raining on him. He had some moments against Mayweather too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had 2 very good rounds, didn't he?
He had 2 very good punches.
Yeah.
Was it the same round or was it different rounds?
Yeah, it was the same round.
And
then he couldn't.
I think it's the third.
I remember when I was watching it, I was like, "You better get this guy out of here because you can't get this man no time to think." And Mayweather just put the crafty ass whooping on him for the rest of the fight. I was like, they could probably stop this shit too. Yeah, Mayweather was just dismantling that motherfucker.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Mayweather out of that fight, out of that round specifically. Like, he first tried to get some get back, and then he got cracked again.
Yep.
And then he went into full wig protection mode, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is just too smart."
You know,
the proper adjustments. The proper adjustments.
You know when Mayweather is hurt because he goes in. If he ain't fighting the southpaw and he goes in the high guard, that means you touched him. I noticed that about him, and it'll take little steps so that you can't see that his feet are you know what I mean, that he lost his legs. He'll take really tiny steps because he knows if he tries to move his feet too much, it'll show that he's got, you know what I mean, the stanky leg. You know, yeah, he's smart, man. Even when he got caught by Maidana, he immediately grabbed the rope and shit. Like, you know, he was buzzed, man. But he knows how to hide it, and then he'll smile and just shake his head and go nope and lean up against the ropes like, let me shake this dizziness and shit. Yeah, man, he's smart as hell.
Yeah, he's a consummate professional in the ring. Like, he just, you know, something about Floyd I think like is lost on people is that like boxing was forced on him. Like, he was like the hopes and dreams of the whole family. Right, and all these people invested so much into him as a boxer that it was just his duty and his responsibility, like, to be a boxer, really. And that's just not these other guys. It's, you know, some guys are like that, but it's just a totally different head to be like the world challenger, world level fighters, your dad and your uncles.
Yeah, but Floyd totally embraced it, though, didn't he?
I don't think he had a. There's a certain point, I think, you know, 16 years old in Las Vegas, hanging out with the hobnobbing with celebrities and rich folks. Then, you know, what else are you gonna do?
Hey guys, IBT man. Hey, I gotta call it, man. I ain't got nothing left, but I'll still be listening. Y'all enjoy, man.
That's cool, man. Thank you for
Later,
coming on
guys.
the panel.
All
Always
right,
appreciate
okay.
it.
GTS, chat.
Yeah.
Enjoy your night, guys.
All
OTK.
right, have a good one. Hey, get the smoke. I was thinking we should do another another fight, dude.
Definitely.
know what?
Tommy and I had an idea last year to do that. And we just never got around. Actually, we did what we did, man. We just picked the wrong fucking fight. We picked Porter Brook. That fucking fight. It's so hard to score.
Oh, that's
it just fucking sucked ass. So the whole thing fell apart over the first fight we chose.
Yeah, and you know what's the trip that a lot of fucking channels are doing that now. It's like, you know,
yeah. It's
I don't know. I don't know if you've seen
Brilliant.
Showbiz. Showbiz did one on Castillo Mayweather won. He had it 8-4 Castillo. Then he did a Triple G and Canelo won. He had it 7-5 Triple G.
Yeah, my wife thinks Castillo won the first one, but you know.
Yeah, we should. IBT, if you're down, we could do one tomorrow if you guys have time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was trying to hop on that one, but I had some like an invitation, not invitation, but I was basically gonna go visit my grandparents, and I was like, oh well, didn't want to be rude, I guess. So I was only able to be in the chat, kind of. I would have definitely loved to have been on. I was kind of I would have loved to have been on the panel, but I was just kind of stuck in the chat with Tim W. and Lisa Bales,
Yeah, no worries. Well,
been there. That's a good place to be, though.
Yeah, good company. Definitely amazing company. Now we got Tim
It's an
W.
interesting sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old people and the new generation.
Well, it's 20. What do
Sorry, I couldn't
Lisa
resist.
is 21 years old. I don't understand what you're talking about. Get to smoke.
Oh, well, that's what she tells everybody, I guess. She's just slightly older than everybody. That's all.
I would definitely love to be on one of those fights. I want to find a way if we could possibly show a fight where we wouldn't get it taken down. You know what I mean? Or at least have an easier way for people to follow along, like a watch together or something like that, so they can follow along easily and score with us, and we can have like a discussion after. I saw you guys scoring, and I kind of cut in and out. You guys did the Mosley Oscar fight. That's a good fight to do.
Yeah, we put the link in the chat.
Hard fight.
Yeah, it was like there's a few rounds that were really tough to score and basically swung the whole fight.
Yeah.
Well,
so everybody
guys,
that's everybody that's in the chat, if you ever Get the Smoke ever argue with you about Mosley and Oscar fight, now's the time to get them.
Yeah. Well, your perspective changes over a couple decades.
Yeah, no, definitely it was cool, man. Tomorrow we could do one tomorrow. If you guys don't have shit to do.
Yeah, I'd be down. We're on the same time zone too, so it shouldn't be difficult. Tommy Temper, what time is it for you right now?
It is 20 to 8, as in 8 a.m.
Oh, okay.
7:40.
Oh wow.
Oh,
okay.
can I just address a point about fights? Because I know about this. If you actually want to show a fight live, what I would recommend you do is you get the fight you want, download it, then upload it as private. Leave it about anywhere up to 12 hours and see if it flags or triggers anything. Because you've uploaded it as private, you won't be vulnerable to any strikes, but it will let you know the status of the video, as in if it's hot or not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I don't know, Raider, if you want to do that, or I can do that or something. I'll try to find a way. That's a good method.
The issue is that most copies are going to have a copyright. So unless you go far enough back, VHS copies and shit like that, it's going to be tough to find.
It's not even that. The issue is, will you get a strike, not a claim? Okay. There's a bit of a difference. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, like I believe I saw Showbiz watching the entirety of Canelo Triple G1 or something like that, and there's like on the screen in the corner. So I was like, oh wow. I mean, if he can do that, he's kind of a more well-known channel. So I imagine
No,
he
was watching like little clips. Like it was only like 10 minutes long, I think. So he was watching like little highlights.
Oh, okay.
Not
Maybe
highlight. He was watching the whole fight, but he only put up like little highlights of each round. You know.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I tell you what, guys. If you tell me what the fight is, I'll look into it, and then I can let you know what the status of the video is on that fight.
Yeah, just do it in Hangouts.
Yeah. Just group. I think we're on the same group, so it should be. Yeah. I mean, thanks, man. I didn't know that you could do. That's how it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
what
you
do
just have to
you
understand
guys
the
think?
system of YouTube. That's it.
What do you guys think? Fury and Wilder won?
Yeah, got to do it.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah.
That's copyright. Oh no! Oh, no.
You know what? You know what? They've been broadcasting that. We're supposed to do it. We're supposed to do that. We're building up to that fight, and we're gonna do that for the build up.
Smoke, you're gonna be on there? You're gonna be on there, Smoke?
Huh? Yeah.
You're gonna be on there? Oh,
of course.
Man.
Of course.
I'm
Well,
kidding.
hold on. Smoke. If we're going to do the first fight, shall we do the second one?
Oh yeah, to see who won. It was a close fight. It was very competitive. To see who had the best crown on the walk-in. Like
yeah, personally, I rate the walk-in better, but
the walk-in. Oh no.
Hey, so I have some right here written down from the last time we were talking about. So we have Canelo Lara, Canelo Triple G, Mayweather Castillo, Marquez Pacquiao 1, Winky Wright against Hopkins Taylor, Ward Kovalev, the first one, Vargas Mayorga, Oscar Tito, and Fury Wilder. What do you guys want?
Yeah, those are. I mean, I'm fine with any of those really. If you want to write it down in the Hangouts, we can kind of talk about it there. But I didn't hear a single one where I'd be opposed to be honest.
Yeah, I would think Wilder, Fury, and Ward Kovalev.
I really like Ward.
Yeah, and then also Castillo Mayweather.
He cut out. He cut out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me drop a link.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Bradley Podvornikov?
I think that wasn't a fight. That was just two guys throwing fists nonstop at each other.
it ascended fight status.
Yeah. That was. I mean, I guess it was still controlled violence, but it reminded me like of just two guys trying to fucking kill each other. I don't know. We can score it, I guess, as a boxing match.
Yeah, who murdered the other person superior, like in a better fashion?
Yeah. Sure. I mean, that fight is still. The thought of it is still like kind of. It's impressive, but it's just with such a guilty pleasure. There's this like, oh, it's almost cringe, but it makes me smile at the same time. That shit was just crazy. That was a crazy fight.
Also, at some point, do Harrison Charlo 1.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I know some people call it a robbery. Some people say that's how it's supposed to be. But that fight is fair controversy.
I don't mind doing Parker White either.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, good one.
I don't know where Raider went. I think he had a connectivity issue or just had to go quickly. But yeah, I'm definitely down to do any of those fights. Official, how you doing? Welcome back.
Oh, is that Dan Raphael in your avatar?
Oh yeah. And Smoke, you see what's in front
Hey,
of
my
I'm
my bad,
feeling
guys. I got that shit kicked me out. I don't know for what reason.
Okay. Wait a minute. So what are you saying, official?
I was saying I'm feeding Dan Raphael a sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Sandwich.
That's your real life sandwich, and you put it in front of the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Raider, I don't know if you heard, but we came up with some other fights we could do. We could do Harrison Charlo 1. We could do Parker White. He also said we could have done
Provodnikov Bradley.
Yeah, but that Get the Smoke made a joke saying that those two guys are just trying to kill each other with their face.
Which one was the second one you said? Harrison Charlo, and which one was the other one?
Dillian White versus Joseph Parker.
All right. Oh, you know which one else would be a good one? Reese versus Parker.
That would be a good one. Yeah, that would actually also fit the criteria we're looking for.
IBT. So you're talking about rescoring the fights. That's it.
Yeah, just watching him and scoring him and talking about it during the during the rounds, chopping it up with the panel.
Okay. So speaking of it, I was thinking about one match. See, the fight between Provodnikov and Matisse. Watching it live and listening to HBO commentary, I had Matisse back then. I had him winning like 9-3 rounds or 8-4 at 8-4. But a couple of years after that fight, when I went to rewatch it, surprisingly, I had it a very, I either had it 6-6 or 7-5 for Provodnikov. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of fights that have been like that for me. I think sometimes it's just kind of maybe your taste change or what you see change. It's very difficult with boxing scoring because some things are subjective and some rounds are razor close, So
yeah, but
yeah,
sorry, just quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. What I wanted to say is that what's surprising to me is that I rarely make those mistakes. Most of the times, 99% of the time, I tend to to have the same score when I rewatch the fights. It only happened probably from the top of my dome. It only happened with that fight and with Cotto Canelo, because when I was watching Cotto Canelo live, I was not really concentrated on the fight because I had my friends at my place and we were drinking and having fun. So I had that fight for Cotto, but then I watched it later and saw that Canelo in fact really won that fight.
Yeah, I heard someone, I forget who, mentioned that that fight was a robbery or really close fight, and I was like, I don't remember that because obviously I'm in the right state of mind when I watch it. So I watched it again, I believe yesterday or the day before, and I was scoring it on my phone, and I had that fight like 8-4 Canelo or something like that, and I was really surprised to see or have recalled that person saying that it was like a draw or that Cotto had won. So yeah, it's just some things change with time, or who you're watching it with, or when you watched it.
Yeah, that was I'll go right there. Boxing, I'll get it there. Or
that's what it was. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I was saying, and it was also me saying that I thought that Cotto did enough to get a draw. But admittedly, I wasn't scoring the fight while I was watching it. So sitting down and going through it and scoring it, I probably have a different view of it. But that was just my impression while I was watching.
Okay. Yeah. And sometimes if you don't score the round by round, you can say a fight seems like a draw, but
I know an ugly fight that we could score.
One thing too is watching a fight kind of drunk. That's not good either. To score a fight.
That's what happened to me with Cotto Canelo.
What's
How'd you guys score Kawasaki Hopkins?
I'm kind of down, but that fight was it happened so late that it's still just frustrating. I mean, you know what? I haven't revisited that fight. I guess we can go back to it. Yeah.
What about Chocolatito versus Estrada, the first fight, and Barrera Morales, the first fight?
I'm going to go first about Chocolatito and Estrada. To me, honestly, I'm surprised how many people had it extremely close because I had it 8-4 for Chocolatito. I could see it 7-5, but not more than that.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it because I remember I had Estrada winning that fight. But I want to go watch it again.
That's a full raft of fights. I didn't realize for some reason it took us like 3 hours to do the first to do fucking Mosley and De La Hoya.
Yeah, I was going through my subscriptions before I went live right now because I wanted to make sure no one else was, and if they were, then I would just hop on there. But I went through Raiders and I saw the title. It was like Oscar Mosley rescoring the fight #1, and it was a 3.5-hour live stream, scoring one fight. Just by the title, it seemed pretty funny.
Oh yeah, no, that's because I was waiting for everybody. So me and Algarete, we were chopping it up for like fucking 45 minutes before the fight started, and then after the fight started, we still chopped it up for a little bit. Just about whatever.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Like, having not watched the fight probably since they aired it, it was like just rediscovering the whole thing and the excitement of it, and it was a good fucking fight. Like some fights, man, like like Provodnikov Bradley or Barrera Morales to me are like Gotti Ward when there's just two guys chucking them with ebbs and flows and stuff like that. It's just like I don't know. Sure, there's got to be a winner and a loser, but
there isn't truly a loser or a winner there. I mean, reality, both of those guys are gonna have their stock go up after the fight. You know what I mean? You're not really gonna see them like, oh, he lost in a tight war, so he sucks.
Yeah, Pacquiao Marquez, like.
Yeah.
I know that's just gonna piss me off. Yeah, I know this is gonna piss me off. Just because, that like the rise of Pacquiao just frustrated the hell out of me. I always thought that Marquez was just getting robbed again after, like, anyway, whatever. So now,
that's Pacquiao Marquez won. Pacquiao Marquez won will be a good one to do just because I remember Marquez got knocked down like 2 or 3 times in the first round. I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. I think Pacquiao Marquez and Castillo Mayweather are 2 good ones to do together.
Those fights.
So final question before I unfortunately have to shut this thing off. I didn't realize it was already approaching midnight over here. But what are the top 3 fights you guys would be interested in rescoring?
All right, get the smoke. Start with you, and then go around the panel.
I'll go Ward, Kovalev 1, Fury, Wilder 1, and like all of these fights had sequels. That's hilarious. And Marquez Pacquiao 1, or maybe Mayweather Castillo, whichever one. And that's 1A, 1B. You can throw one out. I mean,
what about you? Yeah. What about you, Temper?
Yeah, I think Pacquiao Marquez 1. That's definitely a good one to score. Actually, was it the 4th one that they said that Marquez won, or was it the 3rd one? I can't remember.
The 4th one.
Marquez won the 4th by knockout. Yeah.
All right, there was the 3rd one that a lot of people said that Marquez won, but that wasn't really that exciting, that fight. Yeah, I'm down with whatever, guys, to be honest. Can't really think of top 3 right now. But yeah, anything you guys want to do, I'm up for it.
All right. Next, what about you, Vader? What do you think?
Marquez Pacquiao 1, Ward Kovalev 1, and probably see Harrison Charlo 1.
Nobody picked Canelo Triple G.
I just recently
that's another good one too.
I mean, we could do that though, yeah.
I thought we
that's
what did you have? IBT, would you have that one?
I had that one either being 7-5 Triple G, or you could say draw, but I thought that was like fairly give the swing rounds to Canelo. There was one swing round where I thought it was like Triple G, obviously. So I guess it wasn't a swing round, but competitive rounds. I thought it could have been a draw or 7-5 Triple G.
All right, and what about official? What are his fights?
Okay, so let's see. For example, Chocolatito Ranguisai first fight. Yeah, Triple G Canelo, the rematch. And man, Holyfield Kawi went the first one. It went to the scorecards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one would be cool.
Holyfield who?
The white
Muhammad Kawi.
yeah. DMQ.
Muhammad Kawi. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. I'll say Wilder Fury 1. I'll say Canelo Triple G, either of them. Both of them are great watches. And I'll do Pacquiao Marquez 1. Those will be my 3.
Which one was it again? My bad.
I'm fine doing Pacquiao Marquez 1 or 3.
3. Yeah.
So I guess that's all I got for tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed being on the panel. I certainly enjoyed having everyone on the panel. Shout outs to you guys. If you guys want to use last thoughts or plug anything, feel free.
It seems like we're doing these things 24 hours a day now, and I guess I'll see you guys later on today.
True.
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
hey,
I feel like I'm gonna see you guys in like 8 hours probably.
Hey, get the smoke. I think you spend more time with us than your wife, huh?
No, hey, don't give her any ammunition. Stop.
I'm in the same boat, man. Don't worry about it. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Temper, I know you produce content and it's very good content. So if you're not subbed to him, go sub to him. And then Raider from LA, we're probably gonna do the review on your channel tomorrow. So be sure to subscribe to him. Official, you make excellent analysis. So if you're not following Official, I think you're just doing yourself a disservice. And Get the Smoke doesn't produce content directly, but he makes other people content. So keep a lookout for him. He knows his boxing. I guess that's it for tonight.
No, let's not forget me.
I said Temper. I started out. I said Temper. You make great content.
Oh, did you? My bad. Sorry. Oh,
no,
sorry.
I'll say it again. I'll say it a third time. Temper, you make excellent content.
Well, I'll be going live. I'll be going live later today. For you guys, it'll probably be tomorrow. So I'll just give you guys all a heads up.
And you know what? Shout out to the chat. Like always, I always send shout outs to the chat all day.
Thank you for having me on. To everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming on, everyone. Yeah. Shout out to the Playback Gang. Shout out to the chat. And have a great night. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Thanks for being on the panel. Yeah, peace out.